The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Topping up, Dolly Vision streaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby? Missing shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Mark the truth while live on air light. Topping up, Dolly Vision streaming real. True crime scene blast feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby? Missing shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Mark the truth while live on air light.
YouTube, where's the babies? Okay, you heard it right. Where's the babies? Not where's the baby, but where's the babies? We have some missing kids. This story is absolutely crazy, and it sounds like we have some very suspicious parents once again. This reminds me a little bit of the Sebastian Rogers case. But tonight we're going to be talking about Jack and Lily Sullivan, okay? Missing out of Nova Scotia, and the parents. You think Chris and Katie come off suspect? These people come off super sus, okay? But first, let me tell you guys the routine. You know it already. Go ahead, leave your DNA on that like button just in case you go missing in the hills of Tennessee or Nova Scotia. It don't matter. Dolly will come look for you. But I'm going to need your DNA on file, so make sure you headbutt it, drop kick it, elbow smash it. Don't lick it. You could catch a disease. But hit that like button if you're brand new here. Sub up the channel. Ring the bell for notifications. And feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform you choose. Long as it's not Pornhub, okay? Don't be sharing me on Pornhub, people. Don't do it. Or farmersonly.com. Neither one of those two places. Let me give my warnings. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy, a whole lot of chaos, completely satire. So don't take nothing here as fact. It's just my opinion, people. The callers' opinions tonight are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on the Dolly. Everyone is innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. So that means Jack and Lily's parents, they're innocent until proven guilty or otherwise proven guilty by the internet, okay? And the biggest one of them all, the biggest, I mean huge. Don't try to be Dolly at home. It's dangerous, okay? It's dangerous. So these parents, another set of parents that were home with their kids, and their kids just vanished under their care. Now, these parents are a little bit different. They were sleeping, kind of like Katie, right? In the Sebastian Rogers case, this mother and father, they were sleeping, her partner, and the kids just vanished. Just vanished. She said she woke up and she could hear the kids playing in their room. But she was in and out of consciousness, waking up, sleeping, waking up, allegedly. And then the kids were gone. She said the kids slipped out the sliding back door, the sliding glass back door that they can't hear open, and they were in the yard playing, and then they just vanished. But how does she know that the kids were in the yard if she never seen them when she woke up? So she said the kids were in the yard and they just vanished. Okay. Now, this is where it gets weird. The mother's giving interviews, the partner's giving interviews, and they're talking in past tense already about their children, right? They're saying already inconsistent statements. And the search continues for little Jack and little Lily. We're going to watch some news clips on this real fast. Let me share this screen with you guys so you can understand completely what is going on. Hold on. My director has just came in.
I'm just trying to figure out why you have such a bad shadow.
I have a bad shadow?
Yeah. Like your whole, like you look like you're shaded. Like it's weird.
I don't know. I look fine on the screen to me.
Huh.
I added that new light. Maybe that's casting some shadow.
Maybe.
Okay. Now are you the light and the director? I thought you was just the show director.
Looking real funky. I'm trying to fix it.
Oh, okay. So let me share the screen so we can get going here so everybody understands what's going on. All right, let's blow this up. Let's get into it.
The search for two missing Pictou County children is still ongoing. Robert Parker is the warden of the municipality of Pictou County. Sir, this situation has gripped so many in the province. What can you tell us about how your community is doing?
Well, it's been a very stressful weekend for an awful lot of people in Pictou County, and I know beyond. Our little children mean so much to us, and myself and others can reflect back to any time in our families when little ones have strayed off somewhere, and panic sets in a hurry. And when the time goes by and you're not able to find them and you have to call in some help, very, very stressful. And you often say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, all of Pictou County is a village right now, and everybody's hoping and praying that these little ones are going to be found.
Do you ever remember a time like this in Pictou County?
Well, I've never seen people as stressed out until I go back to Westray in '92. It gripped the county, of course, in the terrible loss of 26 miners, but I'm not trying to draw a parallel to that here, but it's the same feeling. People are really stressed out, and they desperately want information. They desperately want to know what's going on. And there's only so much to tell them that these people keep looking. The searchers are out there, the RCMP are there, the ground search and rescue, or the firefighters. Tremendous amount of effort being put in this. And I must say that from across the province, there's all kinds of search and rescue units here from neighboring counties and farther away than neighboring. And just a lot of people. There's dogs here from various places, drones. They're putting a tremendous effort into it. But yet no results. We're in day 4, no results. So people are getting more anxious by the hour, and it's really hard to not let your mind stray somewhere else when you've been at it that long. I'm not talking about the searchers, but talking about general public. If people don't have information, they're surmising that other things and going with what they're surmising because there's no further information.
Yeah, you mentioned the search effort there. This is also the first chance we've seen the new Nova Scotia Guard involved in a search effort like this. How are they helping? Have you noticed their impact at all?
I'm not that close, to tell you the truth, to be able to say who's doing what, but everybody's appreciated right now. And I know the general feeling in Pictou County is great sense of appreciation for all those who are trying so hard to find these little ones. And so I don't know the particular role that each of them is playing. I will say, because people have asked me, that our role as council, my role as warden and our councillors, We depend on our specialists or our experts, being those firefighters, those ground search and rescues, and the RCMP. We fund them to do the job when the time comes like this, and they're experts at doing their job. So they ask us and others to more or less stay out of the way so they can do their job. But it's not council's job or my job as the warden to be leading this search. Our job is to make sure we have these units, that we fund them through our budget, and they're there when we need them.
Yeah, and that's happening, I gather. But you have been to the search location, the headquarters for the search location, I gather, over the last few days. Have you spoken to the family at all?
No, I have not. Again, I believe in stepping back and allowing the people to do their job. And the family's under a great deal of stress, and they're, certainly being asked for a lot of interviews and a lot of questions. And, that's human nature to be questioning. And, but I think it's a tremendous stress on the families. And I think it's important for all of us to, not get carried away on social media or whatever, surmising that this or that or whatever's in somebody's head, but to leave the families be. And they're having a tough time, I'm sure. Just put yourself in the case of your children missing or your grandchildren missing, and the terrific amount of stress that's there. And so I think the family should be left alone with their people there to comfort them. And again, the best we can do is try and support the searchers.
Okay, and just quickly before I let you go, this all comes as a young kayaker's body found in the Pictou County Lake. I mean, what kind of help might there be for people struggling to cope with all of this in your community?
There is help, but it's hard at the first when it happens, just the terrible amount of stress on the families. But we do have a lot of, we've improved a lot with our mental health, but we've got a long ways to go. And it's not just when there's crises like this.
They went missing Friday.
We still have a long ways to go in mental health, but I think if those families, when they're ready, step forward to get the help that they need, I think the help will be there. But a lot of times, as you know, you have to be your own best advocate. But I know that neighbors and friends are certainly there to help the family of the young kayaker and the families now. We've got to do everything we can and to keep praying for these little ones.
Yeah, difficult times for sure. Robert Parker is the warden for the municipality of Pictou County.
Okay, in Pictou County, Nova Scotia, Canada, 4-year-old Jack, 6-year-old Lily went missing Friday. Now, here's the weird thing, guys. They didn't go to school all week. Allegedly, their parents are saying that they were sick and the kid didn't go to school all week. And then on Friday, allegedly, the mother said she didn't hear him. She didn't see him outside. So she immediately called the police. She never went out and searched and looked to see if the kids were around. She instantly knew something was wrong, she said, and she just immediately called the police. Now, you know me, I'm a skeptic on everything. To me, I think these kids have been missing a lot longer than Friday. I believe when them kids didn't show up to school, they went missing for some reason. Now, according to the parents, they were in bed, like I was saying, and they were sleeping. They woke up. The mother woke up. She heard the kids in the other room playing. She fell back asleep, and apparently they went out a sliding glass door, according to the mother, that they can't hear. Then she says the kids were playing outside, and she don't send the kids outside by themselves. She's one of those hover mothers, according to her, but apparently she wasn't hovering this day. And she wakes up, she asks her partner, that's what she calls him, her partner. Is that the baby daddy?
No.
That's just her partner, right? So stepdad.
That's what they're calling him, but they're not technically married, so it's not really stepdad, but it's been 3 years. Her boyfriend, yes.
Basically. He's already speaking about him in past tense in kind of like a Stephen Stearns kind of way, which is really kind of spooky. But, the kids didn't go to school. Come Friday, 10 a.m., they're missing. The parents are talking about the kids in past tense. Thank you, Spread Love. That is super awesome of you. On the Dolly train tonight. Now, this is the mission. Anybody in the Canada, Nova Scotia area, Pictou County, did I say that right?
pictou? Yeah, I think so.
Make sure you keep your eyes open, your ears open. You see anything, hear anything, make sure you call your local authorities. I don't really know too much about Canada, but listen, it don't matter where you at. Kids are important everywhere on this globe, okay? And especially when it's two of them so small. What could have happened to these children? Now, I'm going to be pulling up some interviews from the parents. Which one should we go over first? The father? I mean, the boyfriend?
It's up to you. I wanted to just add, and then I'm going to go take a shower.
Which one do you want me to play?
The,
this one?
At the top.
It says stepfather missing kid.
Yeah, that's what they're calling him.
All right, hold on.
In other news,
let me pull this over here so everybody can see it.
Did you catch that I said that the mother described her children as having mild autism?
Yes, mild autism. Like, I don't know what's going on with these people. Like, I hate to say it, like making their autistic kids disappear. Like it's like a trend or something crazy going on.
Well, the first thing I thought of is the water in the area.
Yeah, and you know how he describes what they were wearing, but yet he didn't see them.
He claims that the daughter came in and peeked her head into the bedroom a couple times. But the way that it was described, that she had her white backpack with strawberries on it, that it may now be dirty due to it.
Them being out in the woods. Yeah. It's strange. We're going to play it, let them hear it.
Today, the search continues this morning for two missing children in rural Nova
Our
Scotia.
dad is in prison.
Crews have been combing through the woods around Pictou County since Friday when police believe they wandered away from their home. Brett Ruskin is live in Halifax. He's picking up the story for us this morning. Where do things stand today, Brett, with the search efforts?
Good morning, Heather. Yeah, search efforts are continuing this morning for these two missing children here in Nova Scotia. So we have 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. They went missing on Friday morning. Now, we heard from the children's stepfather recently. Here's what he had to say
Mama's
about
boyfriend.
this situation.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
So again, this search began with family members and has now expanded to dozens of search and rescue volunteers. About 160 people were on the ground yesterday. There were dogs brought in to try to catch a scent of these two children. There were 8 drone units in the skies.
Okay, the dad is not in
helicopters as well, each one of them equipped with infrared sensors and cameras looking for these children. Now, we heard from police talking about some of the challenging conditions and logistical issues that they are running into with this situation, with the kind of the situation on the ground. Here's what police had to say about this search.
With the wet weather, it makes things a little more complicated for our searchers. Given they're in the woods, it's wet, things are slippery, footing's not the greatest. It's the water's it's not the best, but they're still trudging through and they're still working hard at doing the job that they have to do.
Again, we know that 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan went missing on Friday morning. That is when this search began and when the family reported them missing. And again, the search has been ongoing since that time. Heather.
Brett, I'm sure people following the story closely, those who are close at hand in terms of proximity, what can people do if they're trying and hoping to help?
Yeah, folks might think that, hey, I live nearby, I could hop in the car and go and search through the woods. I can help out as well, but that's not necessarily what officials want. They say this is a very coordinated, very organized search. They know where each one of the crews are. They know the areas that have been searched already and the areas that they are now focusing on. So advising residents to not just drive out and try to help out with the search on their own in the woods. One thing that people can help with is searching their own properties, looking in ditches, culverts, sheds, or any other possible hiding area that these kids, that these children may have used for shelter. That is how people can help. And again, we know that the temperature has dropped a little bit overnight, but we haven't seen below 0 temperatures. So again, these search efforts are continuing now, beginning their 4th day of searching. Heather.
Brett, that's important information. Thank you so very much. Brett, going to be
Do we
keeping
have
us
more
right
in the
up to date
father's
on the
interview?
ongoing
Yes,
search.
there's several ones that I could find. He's talked about 10 times. But I couldn't find the ones on YouTube, so I actually just sent you a link.
Here's the mother, right?
The mother one I had actually downloaded, but there's just so many.
So I want them home.
Yep, there she is.
Okay, let's play this for the people so they get an understanding of what the mom and the boyfriend are talking
And
about.
they're no longer speaking to each other. Apparently, their families had a fight in their yard, and his mom and his brother live on the property with him somewhere, and they got accused of being, well, her family came and accused him of doing it, so they got kicked off the property, and she chose to leave with the mother, so she's no longer in the home where her kids could possibly come back to.
So she's left. So basically it's another Joe Dirt type of situation, like Sebastian Rogers, where the mother's done took off. She's fighting with the boyfriend because her family has done accused him of doing something with the kids. There's a lot of red flags in this one. I mean, there's a whole lot going on in a missing kids case. And should it be all this when a kid goes missing? It seems to be a trend happening with non-bio parents being in the picture around missing children. Yes, it's a Stephen Stearns, Sebastian Rogers kind of situation. If Stephen Stearns and Chris Proudfoot had a baby, it would be this case. You know what I'm saying? To me, like when I heard it, it's a mixture of the two. Wow. Wow.
When I listen to
I
her,
see red flags. I don't know about you.
They're all over the place. Her interview for me was the West Boys, the way that she tells the story.
Cal City Boys.
Yep. The way that she speaks, we went to do this, we did this then.
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
remember Jen and Stephen Stearns, everything was we dropped it off at school. We did this. It's like they're grouping themselves together, but when it comes out that one of them did it, then shouldn't both of them go to prison? Because it's we this, we that, we this. Okay. Now I don't know if they're French Canadian with the we, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you're grouping yourself together, and it's funny that the kids didn't go to school, they just magically were sick, but they're playing sick, and then they just vanish.
But then nobody saw them playing. They're assuming that they were playing because was the door left open? We never got that piece of information.
Not French there. Okay. All right. Well, let's jump into this interview with the mother. I feel the same way, Dolly. Something's going on. Big red flags. If I was the Canadian police, I would have, what are they, the Mounties? What do they call the Canadian police?
I don't know.
Their ass needs to be in jail. Okay. I don't know what they call it in Canada, but jail is jail. They need to be behind bars. Something's going on. They need to force one of these people to talk. If you separate the two, already her family's blaming him, and he seemed a little creepy. I mean, a little on the weird side.
He can't stop talking. The more that he gets pinned to a corner, he seems to just come out and start blabbing, and it's different every time.
Okay. All right.
So I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. everyone possible. I want them home. I want to hold.
Okay, so even the father said these kids will talk to any. Well, the boyfriend. I keep messing it up. The boyfriend said these kids would talk to anybody and they would run off with anybody. So he's already painting himself an alibi that these kids are so friendly that they would just leave with a complete stranger. Okay, so these kids got up on their own, got themselves dressed, went outside, and then left their fenced-in yard. Okay, in bad weather.
I'm not sure their yard is fenced. I'm trying to pull up the map for you, and then I'm gonna really go take a shower.
Yeah, so some of these details are just coming in, so don't take nothing here as absolute fact. Some things may change in this case because it is a developing case as we speak, and a lot of this stuff is going on right now with the families fighting. You know, when families start fighting, all the dirt starts to come out. Okay, so let me pull up the next video that we got for you. We just want you to get a good understanding of why we think something is going on. Okay, that's not normal. Which one am I playing?
The very
Stepfather?
Yes.
Okay. And he's not even a stepfather. They did that in Stephen Stearns too. The stepfather did. The stepfather that and Stephen Stearns was not the stepfather. Okay.
I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them.
Hold on.
I couldn't find that on a YouTube, so it's on the site. I'm sorry.
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. 2 little kids are still out
He's
there.
like fake crying.
Want to find them.
Hold on. I can do.
Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out. I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them.
Look at him fake crying. Not a tear in his eye. Not a tear in that man's eye. Does anybody buy this horse shit? I don't buy it. I already think right now, just by that fake gold chain he's wearing, this dude needs to be in jail until he talks, right? It's too easy to say they are missing anymore. No, I think he's guilty of sin. I think something bad has happened to these children. Trigger warning, people. Trigger warning. When I seen this, you know, Dolly don't talk about runaway kids. I usually don't talk about runaway kids. If I usually pull something up and take my time, because you know I'm team foul play. Something bad has to happen for me to talk about it. And every bad radar that I have operating right now, I'm turning them on as we speak. They're all full red flag. Full red flag. Okay. Chris Watts did something. What does this comment say? I wanted to read that real fast. Chris Watts did something in his first interview with the media. Yeah, I mean, listen. He's just a boyfriend. He don't seem like he really cares. You can tell that the tears are fake. I mean, his eye is dry as a damn dry eye commercial. At Dolly Vision, I think all the stuff they said about them talking to anyone like Sebastian did at school. Well, I think they're trying to buy themselves an alibi that this kid may have ran off with anybody, that they were okay with strangers, that they would leave with strangers. That's weird to hear the boyfriend say.
Well, he started out, and that's the interview we didn't play yet. That's the first one. It's on the playlist.
Okay.
But he started out by saying, I believe they've been abducted. I don't know who would want to abduct them, but they're easy to abduct because they talk to people. It's weird.
Yeah, like it's your first thought the kids have been kidnapped. My first thought would be the kids are running off playing somewhere. They're probably in the woods.
Right.
Let's go search the woods. I'd be out there. I wouldn't be fake crying on the media. Like, I ain't do it. But the kids didn't go to school, right? They allegedly were sick. They were asleep. They didn't hear it. It just seems too many coincidences to be factual.
That's all I can do.
The message is still, if anyone knows anything.
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as as soon as possible.
Well, come forward then. Okay, come forward and say you did it. Let's lock you up now because you look like you're going to prison. Why does he have that scratch on his face? You know, he looks, I hate to say it, he looks a little sus.
2 little kids are still out there.
2 little kids. He didn't say my kids.
Right.
Or the kids I love, my girls' kids. 2 little kids are out there. Like, he's disconnecting himself from them. I don't like that whole disconnect, right? Because then it's like, I don't know.
I want to find them. That's really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else.
Do you see how different
dogs,
in the picture on
searchers.
the top down?
There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out.
All right, let's go back here.
In other news today, the search continues this morning for 2 missing children in rural Nova Scotia. Crews have been combing through the
All right, let me close that. Let's pull up the next one. Let's see. Which one is next? This one?
That one. That's the very first interview, I believe.
Okay.
That's the
In other news today, the search continues this morning for 2 missing children in rural Nova Scotia. Crews have been combing through the woods around Pictou County
I didn't hear him
since
say that about the
Friday
clothes.
when police believe they wandered away from their home. Brett Ruskin is live in Halifax. He's picking up the story for us this morning. Where do things stand today, Brett, with the search efforts?
Good morning, Heather. Yeah, search efforts are continuing this morning for these 2 missing children here in Nova Scotia. So we have 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. They went missing on Friday morning. Now, we heard from the children's stepfather recently. Here's what he had to say about this situation.
I don't think this is the one.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
So again, this search began with family members and has now expanded to dozens of search and rescue volunteers. About 160 people were on the ground yesterday. There were dogs brought in to try to catch a scent of these 2 children. There were 8 drone units in the skies searching, as well as a couple of helicopters as well, each one of them equipped with infrared sensors and cameras looking for these children. Now, we heard from police talking about some of the challenging conditions and logistical issues that they are running into with this situation, with the kind of the situation.
I know, man.
Here's what police had to say about this search.
With the wet weather, it makes things a little more complicated for our searchers. Given they're in the woods, it's wet, slippery, footings not the greatest. It's the water's it's not the best, but they're still trudging through and they're still working hard at doing the job that they have to do.
Again, we know that 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan went missing on Friday morning. That is when this search began and when the family.
Somebody said, call Tony. This guy needs a PR person.
Oh, boy.
This guy needs a lawyer, right? He's going to jail. His story's just not adding up. It's like, or the mother, and both of them were at the house and both of them would have to know. Right? This ain't a situation where it's just this guy alone. This woman is kind of like another Jen Soto.
She used past tense also.
Right now, if you allow somebody to hurt your kids, you're just as responsible as the person that hurt your kid. Somebody said, call dog. Y'all are too much. Now, listen, we don't need no dog the bounty hunter. It is too soon, right? It's totally too soon for the TikTok Tonys and the dog the bounty hunters. Nick and the intelligence agency. I don't know if they operate in Canada. I don't know if they're abroad, but it's probably a little too soon for that. Let's all together say a little prayer that these kids are okay and that we're wrong. We're seeing these red flags though, guys, right? Yeah. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're seeing these red flags. I'm seeing them. I know you guys are seeing them. And when we see things like this, listen, we've been around the block a few times here in true crime. through all these missing, you know, Audrey Cunningham, Maddie Soto, to Sebastian Rogers, to Summer Wells, to Michael Monkey Vaughn, to Cody Bigsby. We're not brand new to these things. And I believe a lot of you guys in my chat have been here with me for years now. We've seen these stories before. We've seen how these stories unfold. Now, there are tragic accidents that do happen, like our baby Dane situation. Tragic accident, right? But in that case, all the neighbors knew they were good people. There wasn't no fighting. There wasn't no drama. And they did everything they could with bringing people in to find baby Dane. And thank God for that angel diver that found him in the lake. But they had a good indication. There were signs. There was footprints by the water that he may have fell in that lake. And miracles happening. I mean, I know it ended bad, but he was found. There was closure. We could still be looking for baby Dane, right? This don't look like something like that. Already there's inconsistent statements. They're talking about the children in past tense. The kids didn't go to school, and now they have just absolutely vanished. And we got hundreds of people out there searching for days and ain't heard one whisper of anything. Let me tell you this. You can only go 3 days without water, okay? You can go 6 months without food and be skinny and survive. Not good, not healthy, but you could make it, right? But without water and at 4 and 6 years old, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's a little bit of doom and gloom. It's not good. It's definitely not a good situation with these kids missing. Okay, I'm going to play this one, PJ.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can. Just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed.
Did you notice he had a little giggle? I was running through water. He kind of laughed. It's that duper's delight kind of thing, to where, you know, I think my story's so good that I'm going to get away with it. They're going to believe me. Let me act like it's nothing, like, you know, no involvement. Dude, you were there, and allegedly you were awake. Y'all were awake, and then a little bit of sleep, a little bit awake, a little. Usually when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I fall back asleep, but usually when I'm up, I'm up. Well, and usually, if you have a kid, here's the thing. When Tiff was a small child, the last thing I'd do at night is I'd walk around, make sure all the doors were locked. I'd go in there and check on her. And usually when she was a baby, I would get up before her. So when I wake up, I'd go in there and check on Tiff. That would be my first thing. But when the mother woke up, she never went and checked on her kid. You know, who else didn't check on her kid? Katie didn't check on her kid. Candace Wells didn't check on the kid, you know. So these stories are similar in that nature. And usually when these red flags are put up, and we're seeing all these red flags, and the parents are leaving the house, and, you know, I won't be surprised if they start to lawyer up, right? That's what's coming next. They won't say anything. They'll lawyer up. At this point, if they had any sense, and I ain't trying to give them any tips because these people may have done something horrible, and I ain't saying they did. I'm saying it's possible. I'm saying the red flags are there. They're definitely there. So let's just pray to God that I am wrong. I'm not wrong a lot when it comes to these missing kids. Okay, that's one thing I'm pretty good at. My psychic abilities, my spider senses are usually pretty dead on. And I'm not just seeing one red flag. I'm not just seeing 2 red flags. I'm seeing a whole handful of red flags. And this is early in a case to be seeing this many red flags. Now, a lot of people think Dolly just comes up here and blames parents. I wish that wasn't the case. Okay. I wish that wasn't the case. But let's be honest, guys. A lot of these parents out here are hurting their own children. This is another set of kids, maybe, that are autistic that have gone missing, right? Like, it's hard to believe that parents can hurt their kids. But I've sat there with a murderer. You know, I've sat here and talked with, not here in the studio, but in Georgia, I sat there and talked to Leilani Simon. Murdered her child, threw him in a dumpster, Okay. Horrible people doing horrible things. And when you look at people like this, you can't believe they could do something like this, but they can. And it happens a lot. People get overwhelmed, or they get with a man and that man don't like the kids. And a woman chooses a man over her own children. Okay. I'm seeing red flags in chat. Guys, if you think there's red flags in this, throw some red flags up in the chat. Don't forget, like this video, right? It will help us in the algorithm. More people will see these children. More people will start to talk about it. So definitely share this video, like this video. This is really important right now because we're on day 5 of these children missing, right? We know we're from America, but our reach is global. Dolly Vision reach here. We got viewers all over the world, Canada, UK, Australia, South Africa, you name it. We got viewers from every country almost on the planet. For some reason, Russians don't watch me. Maybe they're banned.
I don't think they're allowed.
I don't think they're allowed. So we ain't got very many Russian viewers, right? Or North Koreans. Okay, we ain't got too many North Koreans or Russians. But everywhere else in the world, we got viewers. So it's important you like this video, you share this video, because right now it's the most important time where we can help as YouTube creators and spread awareness about these kids. Our reach is global. Millions and millions of people watch YouTube. So it's important to get this out. Somebody out here knows something. And I think the family has a good indication of what's going on. They're blaming him.
Her family is blaming him.
Yeah, her family is blaming him. But here's the thing. She was there with him. She was there with him all week. And these kids haven't been to school. And there's a reason these kids didn't go to school. That is a red flag to me. It's a reason they didn't hear the sliding glass door. Why wouldn't they have checked? You know, you couldn't send him in there. Hey, could you go look, see if the kids are okay? You know, something of that. So I'm seeing something bad. And if they're out here lying and the kids are missing, this ain't like a situation where they sent them off to a boarding school, right? Like a lot of people believe in the Sebastian Rogers case. This is a case where most likely these people had done something horrible and now the kids are missing. So definitely like, share their, even if you don't share this video, share their pictures on your Facebook page, share their story, put it in some of the groups that you're on in Facebook. You never know who holds the answers to this puzzle that we're putting together piece by piece right now.
Back in the woods until a man dressed in military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
4 days into the search for his missing stepkids, Lily and Jack Sullivan, Daniel Martel is pleading with the public to keep their eyes peeled, but he has begun to lose hope they are anywhere in the vicinity.
They hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only 2 prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
Martel wants the search to be extended to include provincial borders.
Okay, he's constantly suggesting these kids have been abducted. Right?
It's the first thing that you learn in freaking deception is that when you're missing a kid and you don't know supposedly where they went or who took them, you're not going to narrow down anything. All options are on the table.
And he fakes cries for a second, yep. and then there ain't a tear or nothing. He just kind of clenches his face and touches his, but he's not really crying. And you know, he suggested that they talk to anybody, they'll go with anybody, their
God
footprints.
Bless you all. Hugging face emoji. Time for keeping awareness. Choo choo.
Thank you for jumping on the Blessed Express tonight. The Dolly train, okay? It helps us, especially on the road. And we're about to hit the road this week to go up to Boston to cover some of the Karen Reed case. We're staying in some haunted hotel too, right?
Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden house.
It's a bed and breakfast.
A bed and breakfast with an axe murderer killed her parents, right?
Her mom and her stepdad.
She killed her mom and her stepdad with an axe. So we're going to be staying there in Mass. So thank you for everybody that helps us out. That goes into our travel fund. And we will be up there covering the Karen Reed case. If you're not familiar with Karen Reed, she backed over her boyfriend at 24 miles an hour, police officer John O'Keefe. So we're going to be up there supporting the family a little bit. We will be there for what, a week? or at least 4 days, 3 or 4 days. And we're leaving this weekend. So we will be on the road. So thank you for guys for supporting everybody that helps out and gets on the train. It all helps bring you great content here at Dolly Vision.
In case the children were abducted, a reality he says is becoming more and more likely.
Post any officers.
Yes, it's haunted.
At the New Brunswick border, PI border, and get them at every airport possible.
Martel confirmed that when the 2 children went missing from the home behind me, Lily was wearing a pink shirt and pink rain boots. She was also carrying a white backpack with strawberries on it. Martel says although he didn't see Jack that morning, he is believed to be wearing a brown shirt, brown pants with a pull-up diaper on underneath, and blue rain boots with dinosaurs on them. He also refuted the claim that the 2 children are nonverbal, saying while they are on the autism spectrum, they are quite trusting and say hi to everyone. According to Martel, his side of the family are currently the only ones at ground zero after Lily and Jack's mother left the county Saturday. But still, he remains, begging anyone with answers to come forward and bring his children home safe.
Anybody who has any information, or you think you've seen something or hear something, or any messages from friends about hearing something, just contact your local police services. Anything, guys, anything.
Okay, so the mother's taken off, which don't that sound familiar? It kind of sounds like the whole, Katie Proudfoot situation. But Katie left the state. Now, the mom and the boyfriend are fighting. They keep saying that it's his kids. But you got to remember, guys, this is a developing story. So the news, just like, when we report, everything's coming in so fast, they don't know, right? So they're just going with, he wants his kids, and they're not his kids. And apparently the mother's family thinks he's responsible, and they don't want the daughter around him. Now, did he do something with the kids while the mother was asleep? Let's look at Maddie Soto. According to Jen, while she was sleeping, Stephen Stearns was murdering her daughter, disposing of her body. Okay? So is it something like that could be possible, or is this a case?
Saw a documentary on that BNB. Good luck, you all. Scary Lowell. Need to start GFM to find Dolly and PJ. Please go live while there.
We will definitely be going live while we're up there. We're taking all our ghost equipment. We got night vision cameras. We got the EMF readers. We got the spirit box. We got all that stuff, right? So we're going to be doing a little bit of true criming and a little bit of ghost hunting while we're there. Now, if the ghost gets me, you know me, I'm a big sissy. PJ is all into this scary stuff. Me, I don't like to mess with the spirit world, okay? I don't even like watching movies on demonic possession and stuff like that. That stuff scares me, right? I'm one of those people, if, the spirits don't mess with me, I won't mess with them. But PJ likes to poke the bear, okay? She likes to poke the bear, and she wants to go to, we already went to the Peyton. What? Hey, PJ, what was that house we went to, the last place we went to?
The Peyton Randolph house.
Peyton Randolph, supposed to be one of the most haunted places in America. It was a slave plantation where a bunch of slaves have hung themselves and killed themselves. There's supposed to have been somebody that fell off the banister and died. And the house
that fell out the tree.
I still got videos from that. I never posted. The house is blood red. It was spooky. I had to say at night, it was pretty scary. We had a good time out there. Ghost didn't get me. Then we left there, went to a graveyard. Oh my God, the graveyard was crazy scary. We were hearing all kind of noises and voices and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So the Peyton Randolph house, is it Peyton Randolph? Mm-hmm. Okay. It wasn't that bad. Okay. But when we went to that graveyard down the street from there,
that was scary.
That was scary. Like we were hearing stuff, branches were breaking. It's like the Blair Witch. Okay. Nothing to do with these missing kids, but I thought I'd share that with you because we are going to be on the road. So you'll be able to catch us live from Canton, Massachusetts, Denham, right? Denham with the Karen Reed case. We'll be in New York. We'll be in a few different places. So we'll be going live with you guys from different locations up the East Coast this week. So make sure you tune in and join us for that. Now, huge red flags, like I'm saying. I don't believe nothing these parents are saying. And I know some people out there is going to give me a hard time. Dolly, why are you always picking on the parents? I mean, why do the parents always have to be so suspect? That's my question back to people that want to ask me that question, that say, hey, all you do is blame parents of missing kids. There's a lot of missing kids in this world. Kids go missing every day. You don't see me blaming every parent out there. It's the parents that, when they're telling inconsistent stories, or I believe there's some foul play involved in it, them are the parents that I talk about. So it seems like I'm always blaming the parents, because these are the cases that I choose to talk about. And if I'm talking about them, it's because I believe there's some foul play in these cases. And that's why I choose these cases to talk about. Dolly, you going to do anything on Summer Moon soon? Now, I don't have no plans right of now of going to Hawkins County, Tennessee. Okay. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I am going to try to squeeze some things in there for summer, right? But we got the Karen Reed trial coming up. We got me going to Florida for Stephen Stearns, Matty Soto. We got me going to Idaho for the Brian Kohlberger case. We got me going back to Tennessee to do another search for Sebastian Rogers. We got me in Colorado for CrimeCon, okay? And my kid still wants me to go to LA with her. So I am going to be all over the place this summer. Tomorrow I start getting my real ID, because you need a real ID to fly. I can't get into Canada to go look for these kids because I don't have a passport. Okay, so I'm in the process of taking care of all these things to get my real ID, my passport, all these things, so I can be anywhere, you know. Something happens, I live right by the airport. Boop, jump on a plane, I'm there, right? 5-6 hours, I'm anywhere in the country. But I got to take care of all these things to make sure that I can do this, okay? Ain't you here, Dolly? I don't know what kind of language that is. I don't know what language you speak. Ain't you here, Dolly? That's pretty redneck right there. Okay, I thought I was redneck. That's pretty redneck right there. Ain't you here, Dolly? All right. So let me pull up the next video. Let me pull this over here so you guys can see it. And I'm just trying to give you all the information I can on what's going on in this case as it breaks.
Welcome back to another live stream.
This Grizzly.
Okay, this is Grizzly True Crime, and today we have an urgent case. There's 2 children missing in Nova Scotia. They've been missing since Friday, the 2nd of May, 10 a.m. Today is May 6th, okay? So that is very scary for a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old to be missing in a very rural area. So please like, please share, comment below, engage with the stream, because it helps boost it into the algorithm, and hopefully then more people will talk about it, and hopefully locals will know about it and can also search, or if they
I said the same thing, Grizzly. It's important, and if you really want to get this out here, it's important that us YouTubers tell you that, how important it is to like these videos, because we talk missing kids, and the more people that see this and the more people that hear it, is the better the chance of somebody having answers that could actually help or solve this case. You know, it could bring it closer to closure, or it could help find these children, right? If somebody was riding around in a car and somebody seen them, or let's just say I'm wrong, right? I always leave that out there, that I could be wrong, that these parents may not be guilty, that somebody grabbed these kids. It's really important that we spread this awareness. So thank you. Shout outs to Grizzly. She's awesome. One of my favorite true crime channels. You know, she sticks straight to true crime, no drama. Not quite like Dolly. I like to battle with some of the trolls and stuff a little bit. But Grizzly sticks straight to true crime information. One of my favorite true crime channels up here on YouTube.
Something, then say something. You know how it goes. Christina, thank you for being a member for 27 months. And to Sadie, from the Prime Minister of Behavior. We know Sadie from the Behavior panel. Thank you so much for being here with us. Welcome. All right, so let's just dive right into the details, everyone. So this case takes place in Nova Scotia. I'll show you a map during this at some point. But first, these are the flyers. If you go onto Facebook and you type in Lily and Jack Sullivan, as you can see on screen here, okay, you type in their names, or Jack and Lily Sullivan, or missing kids.
I don't know if Grizzly's from Canada. I believe she's from South Africa, ain't she? I'm not positive. I think she one time was living in South Africa. She may have moved. I'm not quite sure. I know she's not in America. She's South African. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Here's Nova Scotia. Or
She said
Canada
Sweden.
missing people. You
Okay.
will find these flyers, okay? I will also be sharing them on X and on social media so that you could just repost. But if you want to screenshot this, if you want to go to Facebook and you want to share this, please do. So Missing Children Society of Canada made this flyer. They said circumstances, they were missing since May. They've been missing since May 2nd of 2025. Last location is, and locals, help me say that, Gerlach Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County in Nova Scotia. Personal details. We're going to go over some more details in bullet points as well. I'm just going to read you this flyer here quickly. Sydney's mom, thank you so much for being a member for 28 months. And you said these children need to be found now. Yes, I agree. LL says lots of locals in the chat. Welcome to all the locals. Welcome also to my moderators, patrons, members, and subscribers. And yes, of course, all locals, thank you for being here with us. I really hope that they find these kids very soon and that they are alive and well. Thank you so much. So Lily, 6 years old, Jack, 4 years old. Lily's physical description is shoulder length, brown hair with bangs, might be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Physical description of Jack, short blondish hair, wearing blue dinosaur boots. If you have any information on this missing youth, please contact the following. All of these numbers are in the description box below as well. And of course, they're all over the flyers. And there's many ways to make contact if you see them, if you know anything.
Thank you, Truth and Justice.
Save their lives because they're just vulnerable little children that so far everybody believes just wandered away from the home, and that's scary. It's like,
I don't believe that at all, Grizzly. Like when you see Dolly talking about something, we only talk about things we believe if there's foul play. And just by watching the parents' interviews, we know something's wrong. Parents don't act like that. And, you know, they keep saying this is the stepdad when it's the mom's boyfriend. The mom's family already don't like this guy, right? They were home when the kids went missing. Kids that age are scared. They wouldn't wander that far from the house, right? And the weather bad, they just happen to be wearing mud boots, and I'm not buying it. They instantly out here talking about the kids will talk to anybody, they'll leave with anybody. Well, you didn't raise your kids right. What happened to stranger danger? In America, we got what is called stranger danger. Don't take candy from strangers, okay? Last time I was in Denham, Massachusetts, this old man named Tom CPU, he tried to give me some candy. I told him to F off. I don't take candy from strangers, okay? And I'm a grown man. I was like, hell no, take your candy and stick it up your ass. I don't want your candy, right? So in America, we got stranger danger. Don't go with strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Even today, I'm weary of people, right? Right? I'm a grown man still. I don't talk to just anybody. So big red flags in this case. And that's because they're making it out to be like these kids were abducted under their watch with them home. And Tom CPU has a song about him. Check it out. PayPal me. I've never heard it. I'm pretty sure it's creepy. Okay, if he does. But that man offered me some candy. I think he was trying to grab my cheeks. He was going to snatch me into a van. I don't know. He was trying to get me to join a cult. I'm not quite sure, but I didn't take the candy. Okay, never take people out here watching. Never take the candy. Okay, never do it. It's trust me. I don't care how delicious you think it may be. It's not that good. Okay, it is not that good. Trust me, I've been in a few vans. In my life. You don't want the candy.
Like they said it's like the back.
Tom is a nice little man.
Really not a place where these kids should be on their own, right? Okay, so picture of Lily on the left, Jack on the right. So Lily 6 and Jack Sullivan, siblings. They were reported missing on Friday, May 2nd of 2025 at approximately 10 a.m. Lily Sullivan.
And I will get to see my buddy Tom this week, okay? Don't tell him I'm coming, though. All right, I want to surprise him. All right, I'm going to take him some Kool-Aid and some candy. So don't let Tom know that Dolly's showing up in Boston, okay? Don't let him know I'm going to be in Mass this week. He'll be bringing treats, all right? He'll be showing up with cupcakes. But definitely red flags in this case, guys. Spread these kids' picture as much as you can on Facebook. Momo Shark says, be nice to Tom. I was nice to Tom last time I was there. I'm nice to everybody. I'm a pretty nice person. I try to get along with everybody. I try to be respectful. I believe if you treat people with respect, they give you respect, right? Karen Reed supporters, I'm sure they're not going to like me too much because I'm
PJ
not.
will grab your cheeks, LOL. Rolling on the floor, laughing emoji.
I'm not a big Karen Reed supporter, but you know, I'm going to be there for John O'Keefe's family. The reason people should be there, and a lot of people are not there because of that. You know, they're there for Karen Reed. I'm not there for Karen Reed. I'm there for John O'Keefe. There's a big difference. All right.
Sullivan, as I said before, there's a description. She's shoulder length, light brown hair with bangs. She might be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. She's believed to be carrying a white backpack with strawberries on it. That's according to her stepdad. Now, Jack Sullivan has short.
Grizzly is her mom's boyfriend. Okay. Everybody has been saying this stepdad stuff. Just because you sleep with a woman don't make you a stepdad. Okay. That is the boyfriend. He's not a stepdad. He seems a little creepy. The family thinks he's responsible. But me, myself, with these kids not going to school and then they just magically disappearing, I have to say that I believe the mother and her boyfriend have some culpability in what is going on with these kids. And usually when stuff like this happens, these searchers are searching that area, but the kids are usually not in that area. Like they may have took these kids somewhere and placed these kids somewhere, and these searchers are going to find pretty much nothing. You know, this is a sad situation considering the child is on there. Well, two children are 4 and 6 years old. Okay. And may have autism, be on the spectrum, left in bad conditions, bad weather. So everything's wet, everything's slippery. Not good. You know, the mother said she was in and out of sleep, heard the kids playing in the room, but it seems like the story has been slowly changing, right? And when the truth never changes, all right? When you tell the truth, the story is always the same every time. When your story starts to change, oh, well, the kids came into the room. Oh, well, then we know something is wrong. To me, that is a sign of deception. That is a red flag, okay? When she said that they didn't hear the door, how do you know they went out the sliding door? How do you know they were outside playing? You don't, right? How do you know what they were wearing if you never seen them that morning? Right? If they were able to put their boots on, you didn't put them boots on them. Okay. So they kind of got dressed. Now I'm sure you could go into the room and see what's missing. But that's how I think they would know what they were wearing. But for the most part, they didn't even see the kids that morning. They didn't wake up and go, well, let me go check on the babies. And 4 and 6 years old is babies. Okay. You're talking kindergarten and first grade. Them are babies. Them are little. This ain't like 16-year-old Sebastian, 15 when he went missing in Hendersonville, Tennessee, right? These are little babies that they woke up and laid around and didn't go check on them. When you woke up, didn't you think, well, let me go make the kids breakfast? 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. They haven't checked on the kids. They haven't fed the kids. Right? Don't you think by 10 o'clock your kids should be, it's almost time for lunch. You ain't even gave your kids breakfast. Red flag. Red flag after red flag after. How many red flags we need before we lock people up? Before we put them in jail and go, listen, the first one to talk is the first one to walk. You don't do no talking, you're going to be sitting behind bars until you do. Virginia, where I live at in the United States, here in Virginia, we lock people up here. You don't talk, your ass going to sit in jail till you do. That's one thing I am proud about my state is we quick, and I mean quick, to lock your ass up. Your kid goes missing around here, they either find the child or your ass sits in jail till they do. Virginia makes some shit up on you. They don't even care. They'll lie. You want to talk about corrupt police? They'll lie on your ass till you talk. All right, well, either way, you sitting here.
Short blondish hair. He's wearing blue dinosaur boots and possibly a pull-up diaper. No other clothing description is available, which is interesting. You know, like, what was he last wearing? Just a pull-up diaper and rain boots? Jack Sullivan attended pre-primary at Salt Springs Elementary School, and Lily attended primary at Salt Springs Elementary School. Stepdad said that they were both not at school on Friday because Lily had a cough. And then he later said they also were not at school on Thursday. I've also seen reports saying they weren't at school all week.
That is what I'm hearing, Grizzly, that they wasn't there all week and then they vanished on Friday. I truly believe they vanished Monday and they took this long to come forward. I mean, that's just what's going through my mind right now, because why weren't these kids in school? Had a cough, but all of a sudden now they're magically well, playing in the rain, got their mud boots on. I'm not buying it. I am just not buying this story whatsoever. These parents are suspect as hell to me. Not just the boyfriend, but the mother too. The mother too. Both of these people should be locked in a room until there's answers. Answers. That's it. These criminals out here got too much freedom. Too much damn freedom is going on. When kids go missing, you should be guilty to proven innocent. You know, the first people you got to clear in a missing kids case is the parents. And if the parents are out here acting a fool and not acting right, there's reasons why that is happening. Now, my kid is 25. If she went missing, I pray to God nothing like that ever happens. Me and my baby's mom would be working together. We'd be doing everything we could to find our child. But already these people are fighting because there's probably some stuff that's been going, domestic violence situations in that house that the family of the mother knows about, and nothing's been done about it. Right? I ain't saying it for a fact that has happened, but there's a reason the family don't like him. Okay? There's a reason. I don't know that reason, but I'm sure she said some things to her family that this man is probably not the best man. And the family's like, well, why don't you leave him? You know, and they don't like him. So already the family is blaming him. He's out there searching when it ain't even his kids. The mother has took off, right? So I don't know. Big, huge red flags.
So that's just interesting for the timeline, right? So there's pictures of the news shared of the cutest rain boots that they might be wearing. This is what they say has been described. It's like the dinosaur rain boots and the pink ones with the rainbows. Oh no, isn't that so cute? The stepfather, Daniel Martel.
But they knew to put on their rain boots, right? They knew to put on these rain boots. And I don't know. I just don't look like the best people to me.
Martel says that they came to live with him 2 years ago. He's apparently been dating the mother for 3 years. Daniel and Malehya, I hope I'm saying her name right, have an 18-month-old together. I think an 18-month.
I don't have a real ID yet. I'm going through the process of getting all that, my passport, my real ID, my social security card, my birth certificate, all these things. I need this to be able to fly. So when things like this happen, I can get to the locations. So this week, I'm going to start this week before I leave for Boston and trying to get everything organized to get all that stuff.
old daughter, if I'm not mistaken, but they have a little baby together. So there were 3 children in the home. Lily, 6, Jack, 4, and an 18-month-old baby. And these 2 have been together, the adults, for 3 years and apparently lived out here.
All right. You notice the 2 kids that ain't his are the ones missing. His kid ain't missing. Okay. His kid that he had with her, 18 months, still there. But the kids that were before him, gone. So what does that tell you right there? Okay. What does that tell you right there? That he didn't want this other man's kids. Okay. Good night, babe. That's what it sounds like to me. You know, and look at this. Remember the Cow City boys that they put out the 2 foster kids out on Christmas, right? Remember that? But their kids didn't come up missing, but the foster kids did. One, he's wearing a tap out shirt. Yeah, ain't nobody wore those since the late 80s. I'm just kidding. Early 2000s, okay? That's part of the douchebag starter kit, the tap out shirt. So, to me, it's like, listen, some dudes are not good with other men's kids. I hate to say it. They just ain't. They look at them, they're like, oh, it ain't my child. Why do I have to care about this child? It ain't mine, right? They worry about the kids that the family they've started and don't worry about the kids before, right? And this is a bad situation. Listen, women out there, if you get with a man, make sure you get with a man that loves your kids just as much as he loves you. He respects your kids just as much as he respects you. If he treats your kids bad, he will treat you bad. All right, just simple facts. That should be your first red flag with a man when he is mean to your kids or tries to put his hands on your kids. If he'll put his hands on your kids, he'll put his hands on you. Okay? So any of my ladies out here watching that, remember that. Don't be with a shitbag dude. I know girls like bad boys, but you'll end up, you need a good man is what you need. Okay? Hell with these bad boys. Get you a good, decent man that's going to love you, respect you, treat you and your family good. Don't end up with a garden gnome. Okay? Don't end up with a garden gnome working at DoorDash, about to go to jail tomorrow. Don't do that. Okay?
I think this is a picture of the home, right? That's what they're sharing all on the media for 2 years or so, right? Okay, so we're going to look at the interviews because the stepdad has been very vocal with the media, and so has the mother of the children as well. Okay, I'm just first giving you some really critical details that need to be shared ASAP because some people might only have 5 minutes to be here. So I'm just trying to get out all those details. So if you have to go, I hope you'll
Thank you for joining.
Replay, but then at least you know what's the timeline looking like. Where is this? Okay, the siblings were last seen at their family home on Gerlach Road in Lansdowne Station, a rural, heavily wooded area, approximately 12 miles or 20 kilometers southwest of New Glasgow and 100 miles or 160 kilometers northeast of Halifax. According to their stepfather, Daniel Martel,
yes.
Here, this is the mother, and next to her is the stepfather. So the stepfather is Daniel Martel. He said the children were playing in another room.
According to the mother, that's her partner. So that means basically in America, boyfriend. That's my boyfriend of 3 years. They have a child together. He looks a little snaky. Okay. Look, just by his picture, he looks a little, he don't look like the best guy. Now I could be wrong, right? But my vibe is telling me, dirtbag. I'm just getting a dirtbag vibe from him. I don't know why, but I am.
Well, he and their mother, Malehya Brooks Murray, were in the bedroom with and there they said 16-month-old child. So some reports say 16 months, some say 18, a baby, okay? Martel believes the children opened the sliding glass back door, put on their rubber boots, and left the fenced-in backyard. Interesting.
He said he looks like a meth cook. Now, I'm trying to be nice. I'm just saying he don't look like the best guy. Right now, looks can sometimes be deceiving. I mean, he could look like me. Look, I don't look like the best guy, but I'm a decent soul. Okay, looks can sometimes be deceiving. This guy, He don't look like the best apple, but you never know. I hate to talk bad about people, but they're the ones putting off the red flags. Okay, they're the ones putting off the red flags. They're the ones telling inconsistent statements. They're the people kind of laughing as they tell the story. He's the one out there making it like they're his kids. It's things like that that are, it's too much. And somebody said it best. It's kind of Chris Watts's. Remember Chris Watts when he put his kids and his girlfriend in the damn oil tank? But he was coming out doing the interviews and he was fake crying. And he was, you know, he was trying to get the trail off of him. So he overly done everything, right? But, oh, I just want to help. I want to be, you know, and to me, that is a red flag. Okay. Lots of red flags in this case. And just what the mother said kind of aligned with his story. It almost sounds like it was rehearsed, that they went over their story together. And to me, like, a lot of people are quick to blame the man. Okay. And we see this a lot in the Sebastian Rogers case. Everybody's on Chris. But they forget Katie was the last one with Sebastian. Right? That's his mother. That is the woman that is supposed to protect that child. And everybody goes after Chris. Not as many people go after Katie. And in this situation here, most people are going to go after the boyfriend and not the mother, right? But look, both of these people are responsible for what happened, or supposed to have been in caring for these children. They were under their watch, and this child is missing. Both of these children are missing. To me, they're just as responsible as each other. They have some explaining to do. That is for sure.
So if we quickly look at the map here, let's do it like this. And I just need to resize this for you like this. There we go. I mean, well, this is this area of this road. Somewhere on there is where they stay. And I mean, damn, it really is. It's a rural area, lots of woods around. And if we just use that as an example, we put the little Google man there just to see what the roads look like. Shame if the little kids, you know, are somewhere in these woods, if they wandered off from.
Okay, guys, we got an emergency. All right, here's a red flag. Another red flag just came in. This is a huge one. Okay. We got 698 likes and we got 1,300 people in the room. That's a huge red flag. That means half of you guys didn't hit the like button. Now, real quick, I need you to do me a solid favor. This helps the channel. It also helps bring awareness to these missing kids. I need you guys to take a second. I'm looking at you. Don't cheat. And like the video. If you're super cool, share it on your Facebook, right? But once you like it, and only after you like it, I want you to shout out in the chat room where you're watching from. I want to see our reach tonight. Where are you beautiful people watching my ugly face? So make sure you like the video. And then once you do, shout out in the chat room where you're watching from. So we know what areas we got covered. Do we have anybody in here from Nova Scotia, from where these children went missing? I see Ohio. I see California, Central California, Ohio, Central New York, Northern Cali, Florida. Good night, PJ. Arizona, Iowa, Michigan, Nova Scotia, Canada. Okay, so see, it's important that these videos get out. I'm sure you knew about this case, but if you didn't, now you do, right? Ontario, Canada, Alberta, Canada, Australia, Cleveland, Ohio, Washington. See, we're reaching some people tonight, and that is what is important. This is how we spread more Canada. We want everybody in Canada to know about these kids, know what's going on. If you've seen something, say something. If you know these parents or seen any type of abuse, it needs to be reported, right? Because I don't believe Niagara Falls, Ontario, okay? So a lot of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, from Nova Scotia. Okay, good. Thank you for being here. And you guys continue to share these pictures. It is Hendersonville, Tennessee, Sebastian Rogers' home, Texas, Nashville. I spent a lot of time in Tennessee, so we should have plenty of Tennessee people in here. Columbia, South Carolina, Oregon in the house, Alberta, Canada. We have a lot of Canadian viewers here with us tonight. That is awesome. More Nova Scotias in the house. Thank you, Dolly. We got to get them home. You are absolutely right. Listen, I say it a lot. It takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village, if not more, to find a child when it goes missing, to find these answers, to fight for these kids. Listen, these kids are 4 and 6 years old. They can't fight for themselves. They need people to fight for them, right? They need their voices heard. And the best way we can do that is by spreading the word, coming together, and bringing so much awareness that we get answers for these missing kids. Put the pressure, right? Pressure creates diamonds. It also creates answers in these cases, new clues, things like that. Somebody knows something. Kids just do not vanish, okay? It's very rare that a kid runs away and just magically vanishes. When a kid vanishes, it's usually at the hands of an adult. All right. So I don't know. I don't really know too much about the police in Canada or how tough they are. Hopefully they're tough and they get these people down there. They interrogate the shit out of them, because these people here are not telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God. They're not doing that. You can already tell there's inconsistencies. There's red flags. The family's fighting. Something is going on strange and a whole lot of change.
From the home, wow, that is scary, right? So you could see, I don't know if it's this one, I'm not sure exactly where they stay, but somewhere along this road, you could just, I just wanted to show you what it looks like, right? Okay, so we have that. Then, actually, I want to show you the mother's interview now. So let's first look at this, and then we'll continue with the presentation. Okay, so it's 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Mother of the children. This was on May 3rd of 2025. Okay.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home.
Well, I'm back on nights. I'm back doing nights.
I want them home. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them.
Okay, so listen carefully, because they share a lot of details in these interviews. I can only hear it in my left ear, so I guess it's only like mono, like so only one side. So if you're listening with your right ear, like AirPod or whatever, put it in the other ear, okay? Left side.
And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing.
Dolly, you are tanned. I've been outside for days working. So yeah, my daughter told me she seen me the other day, and you know, my daughter's half Mexican. She said, Dad, you're more tan than me. It ain't even summertime yet. I was like, yeah, I've been getting a lot of sun, but I've been outside with my shirt off, you know, in shorts, working, building a deck, putting up the swimming pool, different things around the yard, planting flowers. So I've been outside every day for the last 2 weeks. And it's been basically 90 degrees here, 90 to, it feels like 100. But so, yeah, I've been outside cooking. So, yeah, I got a little tan going on, right? So, Dolly is a pool boy now. Yeah, I got, you know, I'm outside half naked all the time. So I got a good tan going on. I'll probably be almost black by the end of the summer. So we'll see. At least from the waist down.
Aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up.
I'm kidding, guys.
My partner.
Too much information.
I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They
not verbal, but to talk to anybody, right? Talk your ear off. It's inconsistencies, right? Remember, guys, when Chris and Katie came out and they talked about Sebastian, that I thought the kid was drooling on himself, right? I was like, I didn't know he could talk. I was surprised he could walk the way they described Sebastian Rogers in their first interviews. And then you heard Seth Rogers come on and he talked so good about Sebastian that he was a normal child, did everything that any other child would do. But in the beginning, I thought Sebastian was like nonverbal and drooling on himself, right? So these people are like, oh, the kids have autism, but they talk to everybody and they're outgoing. Which one is it, right? It's weird. It's like strange.
They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now, but we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware
Keeps
someone
fighting
else
the
let
good
them know
fight,
that they
Hite.
were missing.
Thank you, Maya. Now look at this mother. I mean, listen, my kid's 25. I'd be sobbing, crying, snot bubbles, everything. She is way too calm to have a missing kid. And I know what you're thinking. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't. Right? If she hadn't to come up and talk, we'd be saying, well, the mother ain't talking now. She's no emotion. Why do these people have no emotion? Listen, I cry at anything sad. I'm old. I'm a big old softy. I tear up just watching good stuff, right? I'll just be like, damn, I'm over here crying. Like, hope nobody sees me, right? And these people have no emotion. Like, maybe it's just me. I'm an emotional person. I'm happy. I'm goofy. I get sad. I cry. I mean, my emotions are all over the place, right? And I show those. Like, these people that are just so like, oh, yeah, they're missing, and it could be an abduction, or you know, they could have ran away. It's just like, you're talking about your kid missing, right? No, nothing. not nothing. If that ain't a red flag, right? Pronounce Mia. Okay, I've been saying your name wrong this whole damn time. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll try to get it right. But what I'm saying is, listen, how many mothers we got in the room? We got 1,300 people in the room. I'm sure we got a lot. If your kid was missing, day 5, would you be this calm? I'd be panicked even more because it's been 5 days. Yeah. Thank you for joining up. Awesome. New subscriber. Welcome. I'd be freaked out. I'd be unconsolable. Like, I wouldn't be talking. I'd be crying. They'd be like, Jimmy, are you okay? I'd be like, yes, help me. Help. Right? Help Tom Cruise. Help Oprah Winfrey. Anybody. Damn Will Ferrell. Somebody help me. Okay? I take the help of Marilyn Manson at this point. Somebody help. Right? Like, I'd be freaked out. Like, I don't know how these people can just be so calm and just be like, well, you know, the kids could have been abducted. We need an Amber Alert, right? Like, what the hell? Robin,
have a great trip.
Thank you, Robin. And we plan on having a good trip and supporting John O'Keefe's family and, you know, wishing them the best, because there's a lot of people out there supporting Karen Reed, but not as many supporting the family that are the real victims. Okay. So we're going to be there for them. So thank you for your help, Robin. Means the world to us. And we're not going to work the whole time. We're going to go stay at the haunted hotel, and we're going to try to have a little fun this trip, right? It ain't all just YouTube work. We're going to try to make it the best we can. You know what they say? All work, no play makes Dolly a dull boy.
And it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found.
I'd be upset when my cat disappeared. Me too.
I think is what we're supposed to.
And I don't even got a cat. It's missing.
Blame any of the parents at this point. Social media is already doing it, just in case you feel a certain way. The only thing,
Grizzly, listen, Grizzly. I know you don't blame nobody. You just stick to the cases. You don't put your opinion on it, which, you know, I probably should do that. I'd probably have more subscribers on my channel if I didn't put my opinion out there, if I just talked about the case, right? And didn't blame people, because some people get mad about me blaming people. But until I'm wrong, I'm blaming people. I can't help it. I have to give my opinion, especially when there's so many red flags. And I know you guys see it just like I see it, right? And, you know, it ain't about attacking the parents. It's about questioning the inconsistencies, right? Listen, trust me. I don't want the parents that hurt these kids. I don't want any parents to hurt their kids. None, never. I don't enjoy blaming parents for hurting their kids. But let's be honest, it happens a lot. It happens more than we can even imagine of parents hurting their kids. It's hard to even, in a normal person's mind, it's hard to even think that people could do that, right? Like, it's hard to think you could hurt an innocent child, like, just for nothing, or because they were bad, or something you perceive to be not good, and you're going to abuse these kids. Normal people, our minds don't work like that. Okay? Most normal people are loving, caring, compassionate. But when you lose emotion, and you notice this in a lot of these stories, the people have no emotions, right? Because I have a guilty conscience. So if I do something bad, I feel bad about it, right? A lot of these people don't. So Grizzly, it ain't the internet blaming the family. It's the families swinging a red flag. And we're just pointing that out.
thing I want to say is when they, both the mother and we'll watch the stepfather's interview, say they talk to anyone, they'll take candy from anyone.
Full deck 52. I remember thinking Michael Vaughn's parents were guilty. Just saying, definitely not guilty. Okay, there's a big difference in what happened with Michael Monkey Vaughn than a lot of these other situations. And, you know, I was directly involved in that case. I went out there, sat with the family, met with, they're such good people. Brandy, her family, Tyler's family, good people, man. Beautiful neighborhood. You just couldn't imagine that happening to these people, and it did. I pray for Brandy so much. She is such a strong woman, and I just hope and pray that these monsters that did what they did to my little monkey, they pay with every bit of their life, okay? And when they do, I'm jumping on a plane. That's why I need this real ID and passport, and I'm going to be there to see it happen, right? I promised Brandy that when I left. I said, look, when we get answers, I will be back. I promise you that. I will jump on the first plane back to Idaho, and I will be there for it. So we want justice for Monkey. There's no doubt. Monkey's army is still strong. There are going to be answers for this child. What happens in the dark always comes to light, and these people that did this to Monkey are going to pay. They're going to pay.
I don't think that's a good thing. No, teach them not to do that. You know, just like I know they're trying to describe them as friendly, but it makes me really worried if they say, oh yeah, they'll just like, the stepdad says they'll just like walk up to someone's car and get in. Why do you not teach them otherwise? Oh my word, that is so scary.
Brandy is very sick. Okay, very sick. If you've seen Brandy lately, Brandy has lost so much weight, not doing the best. Just keep you guys out there that are, you know, in the true crime sector of true crime fans, just continue to pray for Brandy. Okay, she is an awesome woman. She deserves every prayer you can give her, and she needs them, guys. She needs them more than anybody else I can think of in true crime with a missing kid. Okay, so, and I believe that the loss of her son has made her sickness progress worse and worse and worse. And how could you not, when you're stressed out and worried and dealing with the type of things she's dealing with, and then you put bad health on top of that, We all know stress will kill you, right? So she definitely needs your prayers and every blessing she can get. And I wish Brandy Neal, aka Brandy Vaughn, nothing but the best in this world. Okay. And if she knows she ever needs anything, she can always call on Dolly.
And of course, it would be nice if there was an alert and everyone knew that they were missing. But what else would be nice is if they were found, right? Yikes.
Tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found.
Well, you don't look like you're in a lot of pain and sorrow, woman. Right? Usually when I'm feeling pain and sorrow, I'm crying and snot bubbles and choked up, but you speak so clearly and not a tear has ran down your eye the whole time. Like I don't know if I should run up and poke you in the eyeball to try to get a tear out of you or what, but it's when I see things like this is suspect to me, right? It's real suspicious. Listen, some people say behavior is not a clue, right? Behavior is not a clue. Yes, it is. It's a huge clue. How people act is a clue, right? Like you may not think it is, but listen, I've been around a lot of people. The way, you know who else was emotionless, right? You know who else was emotionless? Leilani Simon, and she murdered her child. Just saying.
We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful.
Now, is that autism or is that a learning disability? You know, everybody's quick to throw out this autism thing now. Autism, right? Like it's the trendy thing to have a kid with autism. Or is that just a learning disability that they'll grow out of? You know, a lot of kids have learning disabilities, or they're a little behind, or they're a little slow to catch on to things.
Red heart emoji, Dolly Vision, romantic face emoji, red heart emoji. Thank you for being the voice of the children and all of us. Red heart emoji.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your donation. That is super awesome of you. I wish we were here under different circumstances, but today it is what it is. And listen, I believe in miracles. I believe in the power of prayer. I still do. I know it's hard, right? But miracles happen, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe these kids are out there, and let's just pray to God that one of these searchers run across something that leads us to these kids. How long can kids make it in deep forest woods like this at 4 and 6 years old? Time is of the essence right now, right? Time is very important. Awareness is very important. This is a sad situation, okay? Like, I see people with more emotion in the chat room than I see from the parents. The boyfriend fake crying, crunching his face up, but not yet have I seen one tear come from any of these people. Not one. Show me a tear. That's it.
But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Okay, so that was that interview. We will also see the stepdad's interviews, but let's just continue with our presentation a bit here. I just wanted you to hear from the children's mother first, right? You guys, Laura's pilot says, "Oh man, catching some red flags." I don't know, man. I'm just listening intently. Okay, so the siblings were last seen at their family home, okay, at the Scarelock Road in Lansdowne Station, a rural, heavily wooded area, approximately 12 miles or 20 kilometers southwest of New Glasgow, and all of that. So according to the stepfather, Daniel Martel, the children were playing in another room, even when the mother said they both talk about them leaving out the sliding door and that they wouldn't hear them.
Yeah, they wouldn't hear them. That like, how do you know you wouldn't hear them? Like, even if Sebastian Rogers would have jumped out the window, Chris and Katie would have heard them, they said. But these people say the exact opposite. We wouldn't have heard them. It's like they're making excuses for their lack of being good parents. Okay? And when they describe themselves like, oh, yeah, we don't let them outside without somebody with them. We're always with them. So they're trying to describe right off the bat how good of a parent they are. A good parent don't have to tell you they're a good parent. They know they're a good parent. You'll see that they're a good parent. Good parents don't have to tell you they're good parents. You'll see it in their actions because actions speak louder than words, right? You don't got to tell me you're a good parent. Show me you're a good parent. That's it. You'll see when somebody's a good parent. You know, and when people start talking about how good of a parent they are and how good they watch their kids, that lets me know right there that you don't. You're just talking shit.
Okay. But the mother says then they were playing outside, but we weren't aware of it at the time. I'm like, well, then how do you know now that they were playing outside? How do you know?
Exactly, Grizzly. How did they even know that they were playing outside, or they didn't walk out the door and just walk straight off? They don't know. What it was maybe they did hear the kids outside and they didn't go check on them. Maybe them kids played outside all the time and they thought nothing of it, right? Maybe they're not as good of parents as they say they are, okay? I mean, I can say I'm the best looking man in the world. That don't mean I am, right? In my mind, though. In my mind, right? That don't mean I am. I can say a whole lot of shit. That don't mean it's true.
No, now. Because the story, according to these two, and I'm not trying to throw shade at them, okay? The story is that these two and the baby were in one room, and the kids, as in Jack and Lily, were in another room. And they must have gone out the sliding door and like wandered off, right? But the mother was saying they were playing outside, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And then they must have wandered off. Well, how do you know? How do you know they were playing outside? Anyway, so Daniel Martell says the children were playing in another room while he and their mother, Malehya, were in the bedroom with their 16-month-old child. Martell believes the children opened the sliding glass back door, put on their rubber boots. Wow, okay, and left the fenced backyard. Now, one thing, I'm just going to point out this. Just hold me back. Try hold me back. What I'm going to point out is I don't hear any talk of breakfast. I don't hear any talk of bathing, breakfast.
See, Grizzly, you're thinking just like me. I was like, it's 10 o'clock. They called the police, but they never tried to get the kids breakfast. They never went in there and checked on the kids. What were the kids eating? Right? Were the kids supposed to get up, dress themselves, put their rubber boots on and cook some bacon and eggs? What the hell? What were the kids having for breakfast? Nobody thinks of that stuff. Well, they don't mention there's so much lack of a normal, but y'all such good parents. Y'all such good parents that you sleep all day and don't feed the fucking kids. Make it make sense, right? That's one of the things I caught too. They didn't talk about, getting the kids up, getting the kids dressed, getting the kids ready for school. Because you got to remember it was a school day. But the kids can play, but I thought they were sick. I thought the kid had a cough. Which one is it? It's inconsistencies. You got to remember, this is a Friday. This is a school day. So most school days, parents are up. When Tiff was going to school as a little kid, her bus came at 7:15 in the morning, right? So you had to be up at 6 to get her ready for school, get her dressed, get her fed, a good hour before. And then, still at 7:15, you're still rushing to get her out the door. So it would take me about an hour and 15 minutes to get Tiff fed, hair brushed for school, right? And staying out there at the bus stop till the damn bus comes. But these people, 10 o'clock, they're still in bed. They haven't fed the kids. They haven't checked on the kids. What were they doing that they were so tired? What were they doing the night before? Right? So these are all huge red flags for normal parents. Usually normal parents have a routine. All right? Every morning, it's the same shit. It's like Groundhog's Day. You get up, get the kids dressed, cook breakfast, feed the breakfast, pack their lunch, get them dressed, brush their hair, get them to the bus stop, get them to school. Then you can come back in and you can lay around and you can go back to sleep. But every morning is Groundhog's Day. It's the same routine all the time. And any parent in here can tell you that. Any parent, okay, with a young kid. I remember it. Tim's 25, but I don't forget them days, okay? I don't forget those days at all. As a matter of fact, when your kids are the smallest, that's when they're the best, right? That's when they don't want all your money. So I remember them days like they were the greatest days of my life. And because, you know, as a father, I still see my little girl. I see the little version of her. I see the middle version of her. I see the teenage version of her. And now I see the adult version of her. But when I look at her, I see all of those. Okay. Because I remember when she was just a little girl playing with Dora the Explorer and damn, you know, Lilo and Stitch and Hannah Montana concerts. I still remember all these things, right? Just active, like in these parents that are like, just, oh, I'm just going to sleep. Like the kids are not important. The kids are second, you know, and that shouldn't be the case. Your kids are small and they still want all your money. Okay. Well, you know what I'm saying. When they get older, they're going to want all of it. All right. Every penny. They're going to be shaking you down. That's how they get when they're older.
Giving medicine for the cough. I don't hear anything happening in the morning for Jack and Lily. It's a little bit weird, right? It's just like, oh, they were there in that other room, whatever. And maybe they're just not saying it, but we don't have that as part of the timeline. Stay Awesome said, comment about they won't be
Lily
in their
is.
bed. Sounds exactly like, oh dear, somebody was going to say it. Okay, so that's what we.
Yes, preschool and school for the kids, right? Like Lily's old enough for school and Jack was 4. So we're talking preschool and Lily missing school all week.
We have lots of interviews of the stepdad to look at as well, okay, to listen to.
Yes,
Martel,
John.
the stepdad says that Lily and Jack never go into the woods by themselves. He describes them as vulnerable and autistic. Well, did they get any help? They're not officially diagnosed. So here we go again with parents saying,
That's so Raven.
throw shade on my word, that they are undiagnosed autistic. Well, maybe get them diagnosed before saying all that. You know what I mean? There's so many people that are just like, yep, that's it. They're autistic. What?
You know, one thing, somebody said something about Hannah Montana and Raven. It was That So Raven is what it was. But I got to meet Dora the Explorer and Barney like just about a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. I met Dora the Explorer and Barney. So they were doing their voices and they were pretty cool. They were nice people. But I told Barney, I was like, look, man, I damn hated your cartoon. Like the show. Well, it wasn't a cartoon, but, you know, he's a big fucking purple puppet. And I was like, it used to drive me crazy. And my kid would torture me with it. And he was like, yeah, I've tortured a lot of parents. He was a cool guy. But I met Barney and not Hannah Montana, but Barney and the voice of Dora the Explorer.
Why does that help find them? Help to find them. You know what I mean? Say the things that will help to find them. Okay.
Always on empty hay.
He also described them as vulnerable and autistic. He said, we never cross the road. We have cabins built up in the woods. Oh, okay. And that's where usually as far as we take them. Okay. Daniel says, that's the stepdad, that he and Malehya, that's the mother, asked Lily and Jack to quiet down on Friday morning to let the babies sleep.
See, inconsistencies. Which one is it? Remember in the Sebastian Rogers case, remember first Katie said, I heard a thud, I didn't check on him. And then when everybody on the internet gave her hell, she said, I heard a thud, and he hollered back, quiet. She said, I said, scream quiet down in there. And he said, okay, Mom, I love you, love the dogs. That was an inconsistency. Remember, she first said she just heard a thud and didn't check on it. Just like these people. We didn't hear it. We heard the kids, but we didn't check on them. Now it's something different. There's all these inconsistencies, and every inconsistency is a red flag. When you're telling the truth never changes.
He estimates it took up to 20 minutes to notice the 2 children were gone. A few minutes went by. This is a quote from him. I heard nothing. I got up. I went down in the kitchen. I checked everything. I seen they weren't there. Checked their bedrooms, and they weren't there. So I looked out the backyard. That's the only other place that they would go. And their boots were gone. The door, the sliding door, was closed. Oh my word. So you're telling me a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, they were playing and they're like, quickly, let's go. I'm trying to imagine the story. Okay. And so they open the sliding door very carefully, a 6-year-old and 4-year-old. Okay. the 4-year-old with a pull-out.
John B says they didn't even know what they were wearing. Same thing with the Sebastian case. They knew he had on, they didn't know, exactly. They knew he had on some sweatpants and a black shirt, but they didn't know what black shirt. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just Rugrats. It seems a little strange and a little suspicious to me, right? I pray to God I'm wrong, like I do in all these cases, right? Here's the thing about true crime to me. If I'm wrong, it's a good thing. All right. I like being wrong. It's just the problem is I'm usually right. But I really pray to God that I'm wrong and these kids are okay. But at this point, I'm thinking foul play. And if you think foul play, I want you to like this video and press 1 in the chat room so I know how many people's on the same page as me. If you think these kids are just missing and the parents don't have nothing to do with it, press 2, right? If you think foul play and the parents are responsible, press 1. If you think the parents have nothing to do with it, press 2. Let's see where everybody's at real quick, okay? Just a little poll. I'm seeing a lot of 1s. I'm seeing a lot of 1s coming in. A lot of 1s. I haven't even seen a 2 yet. Okay. I think a lot of people are on the same page as me. And listen, can we all be wrong? Can we all? I mean, I guess we could, but what's the odds of everybody in the room? Right now, 1,250 people. What's the chances of us, the majority, a good 99% of us being wrong? Okay. LOL full deck. Undecided, Justice Jane. I know, Justice. It's hard, but just with the information I got right now. Now, I ain't saying some more information won't come out that leads me in a different direction, but with what I have right now, the parents are super suspect to me. And I mean super with a cape, flying around like Superman. They're super sus. I still ain't seen it too. Vibes don't lie, right? I totally don't. Sliding door was closed. No one heard it open nor close. It is sus. See, even though you're undecided, it's sus. Meth use can cause sleeping for days when they run out. Yes, listen, a lot of people get on them drugs and they're up for like 10 days at a time. And then when they go to sleep, they sleep for a week. And, they're in the middle of nowhere. Look, drugs are everywhere, too. So you can be in a damn 100 miles from anything and still be drugs all around. It's crazy. It's an epidemic, really. Meth is horrible. Now, they look a little meth-ish, but they look like they got their teeth and things like that. So, I mean, I don't know. They could have just got on it. I don't want to say that they're drug addicts because I don't know. I've never been around the people. I don't personally know them. Don't be T-Rev at home. Definitely do not be T-Rev at home. But you see right there in the chat that most of the 1,250 people in here believe that the parents have something to do with the disappearance of these 2 children. Now, if we believe that, the police in Canada got to be thinking the same thing, right? So hopefully, they can get them in there, separate them, get some of the family members, maybe the grandmothers, and talk. And, because some dirt has to come out. And I'm sure the mudslinging with the parents fighting, the mom and the boyfriend is about to come. We're about to hear some backstory to some of this in the next coming days. And we're going to be here for it, right? Because there's some dirt. There's some things happening behind the scenes that we don't know yet. And I'm sure it's going to come to light.
Diaper. Wait, somebody said it's a overnight pull-up, not a diaper. Yes. Okay. And then they're like, you know what we should do? Put on our rain boots and wander off. I don't know where they'd be going, and it is possible. It is possible. I'm just saying. And then they close the sliding door as well. All right. And also what's interesting is the stepdad mentions the backpack. He says that Lily had a backpack. How does he know? Was the backpack also missing? You know what I mean? Anyway, so he said, so I looked at the backyard. That's the only other place they would go. And their boots were gone. The sliding door was closed. Usually they don't close the door I usually have to remind them to close the door over and over. Okay. I don't know. And how would that be so silent? I don't know.
Okay, to me, when he says he has to remind them to close the door over and over again, it sounds like they've been going outside on their own other times. Don't, close the door, close the door, close the door. Because if he went out with them, don't you think he would just close the door? Right? So it sounds like these kids were going outside playing a lot by themselves. Now, the parents are making it out to be in the boyfriend like these kids didn't go out by themselves. But I guarantee you this, in the middle of nowhere, these kids were going outside by themselves. And I still don't buy they went out by themselves and it was like, oh, let's go run off in the woods. Right? I just don't buy it. I just do not buy it.
No. He says he then jumped in his vehicle and he started looking for them. He said, I searched every dirt road and searched every culvert as fast as I could until I got back and seen the RCMP there, which is the Royal Canadian
Yes, Nancy.
Police, and they wouldn't let me.
Did they get up to feed the baby? Right? Did they get up to feed the 18-month-old baby? 10 o'clock? It seems strange to me.
Me back in the woods until there was a guy dressed in military gear. He allowed me to jump back into the woods. So I jumped the back fence and continued my search. Another quote that he said that was interesting. I'm like, oh, well, that's worth analyzing. It's just the house is just silent. There's no magic in the air.
Okay, cheesy. Bobcats have not been known to kill anybody. I looked it up one day. Right? They ain't been known to kill anybody. Bobcats are common in Nova Scotia. There are also moose. Well, moose might trample you, but they ain't going to grab your baby like a dingo. Deer ain't running off with your baby. Bears, possibly. Okay? Black bears, not so common. All right? I ain't saying it can't happen. Grizzly bear will. Black bear's not so common to run off with you. And if they do, there's going to be a trail of blood and stuff like that. So there would be signs of a bear attack. Okay? A bear just don't grab you and run off with you. But as far as bobcats, nah, a bobcat would run. Even at a small child, it would retreat and run off. So I'm not buying the bobcat, the bears, the mooses, or anything like that. And this is something to do with these parents, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't have any facts of that. I have no proof of that. All I can say is their behavior is red flags, and these red flags are making me think that.
It's just silence. That's really all I can say. Okay, sir. Now, I'm not going to point this at myself.
Yeah, and if the kids ran off, why ain't the dogs tracking them, right? There's no track. There's no nothing. There's no scent because them kids didn't run off. That's why there's no scent.
I'm just going to say on social media, people have said that he's got a scratch on his face. And I'm like, is that a scratch on his face? Maybe. Again, trying not to blame him at all. He's just said a few interesting things. So the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. This doesn't help though.
I was right.
We need to
It is the Mounted Police.
It's getting the information.
Mounties.
Who are these kids? How old are they? What did they look like? What were they last seen wearing? According to the mother, according to the stepfather, what did the police say? What is happening? How can we help find them? That's our role. Okay. So if the police thought they were sus, then they'd be looking into them. You know what I mean? And maybe they are. Okay. So the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, believe that the children wandered off into the surrounding dense forest. There's no current evidence to suggest an abduction. That's why there's no Amber Alert, right? Though the stepfather has expressed concerns about this possibility. In fact, he's been adamant that the police have not done enough, that they didn't act quickly enough, and that they should have an Amber Alert because he thinks they were abducted and they should be checking airports and areas like that in case someone has taken them. So all I'll say about that is it's offering a very strong narrative, right? So the mother, Malehya Brooks Murray, told CTV News that Lily and Jack are not the type of children to go outside alone, which is interesting because they said Daniel, the stepfather, says they go outside to like play with bugs and all of that kind of all the time, right? So interesting. Deception detective has rolled in. Are you going to react to this? You said this situation is no bueno. It's a little bit of a red flag. Hey. Yeah. Okay. So the mother said they're not the type of children to go outside alone, raising questions.
See, you notice everybody that's into foul play is on this case, right? Everybody that believes, hey, this shit ain't right, everybody's talking about it. So, you know, us YouTubers out here that call BS, we're on this one instantly, right? Like, oh, nah, that ain't right. That didn't happen. So, and you're probably going to see it grow, which is good. We need to spread this awareness. We need answers for Jack and Lily. All right. They need your voice.
Questions about the circumstances. The stepfathers publicly suggested the possibility of an abduction, urging authorities to monitor, there we go, the New Brunswick border. He's like, check that border and check the airports. Okay. Interesting. So a vulnerable missing, these are the alerts that have gone out so far. A vulnerable missing persons alert was issued for locals. I'm so sorry if I don't say the words right. And Antigonish, Colchester, and Pictou counties on May 2nd of 2025. That's the day they went missing at 10 a.m. on that Friday. A broadcast intrusive alert was issued on Saturday, May 3rd at 5:27 p.m. to all of those counties as well to engage the public. No Amber alerts been issued. So when the mother says she just wishes everybody would be alerted, there have been alerts that went out. There are many searchers looking. There's drones, there's dogs, there's searchers, there's everything. There's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, for goodness sake. People know, they know, you know, and maybe we don't know, but now we know, and we're sharing this. Okay, so make sure you like and share so others will also know and also talk about it. And I really hope that these children will be found, right?
Well, we're on it, Grizzly. No problem. And what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to open up the phone line. I want to hear from you beautiful people what y'all think about this case and this situation that we're talking about tonight. So the phone line is open. The call-in number is on the screen, 757-797-6694. Okay, give me your opinion. Is this foul play? Are the parents suspect? And what do you think have happened to these two small kids, Jack and Lily, age 4 and age 6, in the middle of the woods, nothing around for miles and miles, but yet these kids have just vanished. You know, inconsistent statements, already building alibis. Dolly.
Dolly.
Yeah.
Mab.
What's up, Mab?
Not much. What you doing?
Just talking this case, you know, it seems a little strange, a little suspect that these people didn't wake up to feed their kids or get their kids dressed or check on their kids.
Did your kid kind of wake you up in the morning when she woke up?
If she woke up before me, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my kid always woke me up.
But Tiff was like one of those kids that were hard to get to sleep. So she usually didn't wake up before me.
Gotcha.
So
I'm feeling a little sus on this one.
Are you?
Yeah.
What red flags is popping up for you?
The 10 a.m. not getting up and taking care of your kids, number one.
Uh-huh.
He's been laid off for a while. So you got no income coming in. That could cause stress. It could be fighting or whatever.
Yeah. Hard to feed a kid when you ain't got no money.
That's right. He looks a little tweakish.
A little, I would say.
Just a gut feeling. Just a little. There's no emotion on either one of them.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I haven't seen a tear. I've seen some fake crunching your face and rubbing your eyes.
Yeah.
Usually if you touch your face, it's to wipe a tear away, not to rub your eyes raw.
Right.
You know, so to me, that's a
people, man. People think that people are stupid or something. I don't know.
I guess. I think he thinks he's fooling people, but he really, to me, it ain't fooling me. To me, you're looking suspicious. Now, suspicious don't mean you did it. It just means you're suspect, you know, until there's some more evidence that says you didn't do it. Right now,
So
they're my number one suspects.
these kids got up on their own, dressed themselves, put on the rain boots, slipped quietly out of the house.
Like ninjas.
Yeah.
Like little ninjas, baby ninjas.
Like a Houdini.
Yeah, didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Heard that before.
You know, why didn't they leave the door open? If they always leave the door open, how come this time they closed the door?
Yeah, and one of the people in the chat said now there's a forest fire in the area.
Oh, that ain't good. Right.
That ain't good.
You know, but the weather's been so rainy.
Thanks for all you and PJ do, Dolly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We try to do our best to bring awareness to these cases as much as we can, you know, within reason.
Yeah, like you said, I think we'll be getting some more details soon.
Yeah,
in 5 days, you'd think.
Yeah, I'm sure this family's going to start throwing blows at each other. Like, you know, we've seen in the Sebastian Rogers case. At first, everybody was getting along. And then how long did it take for that to fall apart? It didn't take long. And then all this dirt started coming out about, you know, Sebastian being SA'd and them trying to put him in a home and, you know, all the stuff we know now. We didn't know that in the beginning. But all that same type of stuff is going to come out in this case. This case has a lot of similarities to Sebastian, to Maddie Soto, to the West Boys. I see little things from all those cases, all in this one case already, and we're only 5 days in.
We're getting mixed messages too.
Autistic,
undiagnosed autistic, nonverbal, but they talk to everybody. They'll talk your ear off.
Yeah, and they'll go with just complete strangers. Well, that's bad parenting right there.
Yeah, you think?
I don't think I know. I know, right? That's one of the first things you got to teach your kid is stranger danger, you know. And I guess that wasn't taught. But hey, Map, I appreciate you calling in.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. All right, so there's Mab's intake in it. He said, "Hey, red flags, you know, not getting up to take care of the kids, inconsistent statement." Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey.
It's Rita from Dexter.
Hey, Rita.
Hey. I've been watching. I had to cook eggplant, but I was listening.
You had to cook eggplant?
Yeah. I had to make it. My son got off work and he wanted me to make some eggplant, so I made some.
Okay.
So I was in there making eggplant, but I'm still listening. I just wasn't in here watching.
Oh.
But I'm in here now. But yeah, I could hear what the mama and all of them were saying. But in this, I think there's something going on here too. It don't add up. None of this is adding up.
No.
And but this is what I think, and I'm already getting my theory because you know how I am. The stepdad there, he looks real suspect to me.
Well, he's the boyfriend. But, he ain't even the stepdad. They've been together for 3 years.
Okay, so he's we like to call them F boys. So anyway, that's pretty much what he is. They were laying around in bed all morning. No one's up with the kids. These kids got up at 4 and 6, got their clothes on, got dressed, got outside. Now they're gone in the woods. Now, I think we're going to have another Dane Paulson case. I think they're going to find these kids in those woods, but it's going to be foul play. You watch.
You think so?
Mark my words. I think so. I think something happened with those kids, and that's where they were put. And I think that's why the stepdad, or whatever he is of the week, I think he's pushing for an Amber Alert to get their minds off of not searching those woods.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well,
he's wanting an Amber Alert right now.
I think if you was going to do something bad and try to hide the kids, you would get them out of the search radius. You know, where they're going to be.
Well, maybe he ain't bright enough to get them out of the search radius.
Maybe not. Maybe not. And like how he was describing the book bag as being dirty. Like that seemed a little weird. Like you didn't see him. How do you know the book bag was dirty? And like, I don't know. I just don't feel like these kids were being watched as good as they should. And if they was, something has happened to them. And I'm going with what her family thinks, that they're responsible. You know, did this girl let
Yep.
him do something, or did he do something while she was sleeping?
Yep. That could be it too. And he could have disposed of them out there in them woods.
Yeah.
It could be why he's not wanting those woods searched.
How does Mom and BF
Now,
know
Lonzie
what the
Barton
kids
was
were
put in the
wearing?
woods, and I don't know if you followed that case, but Lonzie Barton belonged to Lana Barton in Florida, and I lived down there whenever that Lonzie went missing.
Okay.
And they faked a carjacking, and Ebron went to prison. Ebron went to prison. Lana got 5 years. But what happened was they were laying in bed doing their thing, and he drowned in the tub, and they disposed of his body and faked the kidnapping.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I can
these people
understand
here give me the
something like that happening, but 2 kids ain't gonna drown in the bathtub. I mean, what's the odds of 2 kids?
No, yeah, that's not what happened here. But I'm saying that situation there, these 2 could have been laying in bed, something could have happened, and then they disposed of the body too. And she's sitting there saying, the mom is showing no remorse. I mean, they remind me so much of that case, and I'm not saying that the kids drowned because they don't even have a pool. But what I'm saying is that there's already stuff on Facebook groups that are talking about these 2 and how those kids were being taken care of.
Yeah, I bet there is. And it's whatever happens in the dark is going to come to light, Rita. We know that's going to come out here shortly. All their dirt.
Oh yeah, and whenever it was going to come to light when it's 2 weeks down the road and they get a searcher out there that finds them bodies. Now I'm sorry, I don't want to say that, but Dolly, I've seen too many of these cases. I'm 50 years old come July. I've been following true crime cases since I was just a kid. Now I've been here for even the Elizabeth Smart case. She was taken from her own bed.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember all of this stuff. These parents are so suspicious it is not funny. And I really believe there's foul play here.
Yeah, I do too.
You know,
we're on the same page there. Something strange is definitely happening. There's too many inconsistencies, too many things that don't make sense for it not to be something. Something's there. We'll have to wait a little more and let a little more come to light. But the police need to have them questioning these 2 people.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to have them in the sheriff's office having a conversation with them. They should be all up in their business.
For sure.
And like you said, Leilani, perfect example. Showed no remorse. Look what happened.
Yeah, that's what I said. When these women are out here not crying, not showing too much emotion, it's hard to believe that somebody could do that to their own kid, because normal people don't think like that. But these ain't normal people. You know?
No, they're not.
They have a different mindset.
I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
I couldn't either.
There's no way. And anybody that hurts a child, they deserve the death penalty. That's just my theory. You hurt a child, you don't deserve to walk this earth. That's I've always felt that way. And everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't say that. Oh no, I'm sorry. A child can't fight back.
No, they're
a child cannot fight back. They rely on the adults to keep them safe.
Yeah.
And that's our job as parents. We're supposed to keep our children safe.
Absolutely.
And these parents did not do that. These kids are gone. No matter what happens here, these parents are solely responsible for what happened to this child.
Amen.
Or these children.
All right, Rita, you be good.
I'm going to get off here so other people can call.
All right.
All right.
All right, peace.
I'll be watching. All right, bye.
All right, let me address this comment right here to Super Chat. How does the mom and boyfriend know what the kids were wearing? I guess because stuff missing out of the room, or they're just guessing, or when they were getting rid of the kids, they knew what they put on them. I don't know. I mean, it can only be one of those few things. And this comment on the screen, just because parents may have been a little bit irresponsible and lazy doesn't mean they harm their kids. Well, if you're neglect, it falls under neglect. Dolly.
Dolly?
Yes.
Hi, this is Jody from Virginia.
Hey, Jody.
Hi. Okay, I have a theory and it's not good.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. I know it sounds terrible, but you know, people are saying he looks like a meth head or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Notice his child that he had with her is not missing.
I said the same thing,
It's a
Johnny. I said the exact same thing. I said, why his kid ain't missing?
Uh-huh. And somebody's out of work, I heard. Him, her, both of them. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they didn't sell those children. And then they, they have a week head start.
Yes.
They got rid of them.
I like to know the date that somebody other than them two seen those babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I believe that'd be the last time they were seen is important, because they reporting them missing Friday, but that kid hadn't been in school all week.
Yep.
And there's probably a reason.
Yeah.
Did they have a cough or were they gone?
Right.
So I don't trust nothing they're saying at this point.
I don't either. And it's all weird, and I hope that's not the case.
We need to go back to the old days when you could bust somebody upside the head with the phone book. Bow! Tell me what you know.
Yeah,
Tell me what you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, we can't do that. That's police brutality now. These criminals have too many rights.
I know they do.
So
it's ridiculous. But anyway, that's my.
Okay.
That's my theory.
I agree with you. Until next time.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, like criminals, listen. Interrogations, look, if they they waterboard people at damn Guantanamo Bay. But you can murder your kids and not get waterboarded. Okay? They had terrorists standing on cinder blocks for 24 hours a day naked. Listen, if it's okay to torture people, then it needs to be okay to torture people across the board. Okay? You can't just torture foreigners that live in dirt huts, right? If you're going to say it's okay to torture information out of it, why not do this to accuse child killers? Dolly. Hello.
Hey.
Hey. Can you hear?
So what's up with this case? 2 little kids are missing in Canada.
Yeah. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
You know it's me. This is my
what's up, Lisa?
I said, so it's 2 little kids missing in Canada?
Yes. 2 little kids are missing in Canada.
And they have autistic quality? I mean,
the mothers, they haven't been diagnosed with autism, so we can't say they have autism, but the mothers say they may be on the spectrum.
Why do people always say, but 4-year-old and 6-year-old, wait a minute, how old was the other child?
4 and 6.
No, the other one that they had
15
together.
months.
Okay, well, how is she laying her butt in the bed at 10:30 for one that young? She should have been up early with that other child.
That's what I would think. And by 10 o'clock,
that doesn't make sense.
She should have been cooking her kid breakfast or getting them ready for school. How did she, I can understand the kid didn't go to school the day before because it was sick. How did it know it was sick that morning if she never went and checked on it to see if he should be in school or her be in school?
I don't know, but 10:30, Lord, I'd give anything to take a little bit. I was up every morning at 6 o'clock, no choice. I mean,
that's what I said. Every morning, 6 o'clock, same routine. Get up, get the kid up, get them dressed, cook breakfast, feed them breakfast, pack their lunch, comb their hair, get them out the door to the bus, run out to the bus stop. Hope you didn't miss it. Same routine every morning.
But not if you did miss it, then you had to drive them.
Then you had to drive them, yeah.
I'm just saying, though, if we're smaller one, there's no way you lay your butt around. She had to have been up.
Apparently not. She said she was awake. She said she was awake, but she was in and out of sleeping. Like she was awake, but then she nodded.
Well, if she was awake, when she said she was awake, okay, she's a mom. You get your butt up and see where the other 2 kids are at.
Absolutely. At least check on them periodically.
Not only that, they were sick, right? Supposedly they were sick.
Supposedly, yeah. So she just
if they were sick, that's more reason to check on them.
Absolutely. But she didn't.
Yeah, because something ain't right.
I know. I've been saying that for the last 2 hours and 19 minutes. Something ain't right here. This shit ain't adding up.
No, he seems a little. He seems a little. I don't know. Squish. I don't know. Weird. I don't like his vibes. I just don't.
I don't like either one of them's vibes. I think both of them are responsible. I don't know who's the main culprit.
Well, they're responsible, period. If you neglect your kids,
yeah,
point blank and simple, you're responsible.
That's what I said. Somebody said being lazy and laying around, you know.
And now I don't want to hear that crap.
It's neglectful, is what it is.
No, parents. Once you become a parent, and ain't being no lazy, they're your first priority.
You know what?
That's the thing you get up in the morning.
You know what neglect here is in Virginia? A felony. You neglect.
Yeah, in Virginia, you better pray you don't neglect, or you in trouble big
that
time.
It carries child neglect carries 5 to 10 years here in Virginia. Child neglect. It's a felony.
I'm from VA.
Yeah.
I know. I live in VA. I know.
Don't watch.
You know, Youngkin made that Cody Bixby thing and made it. You know, people here, you don't play around. They don't play about kids here.
Child neglect is a felony. You're going to jail, no bond.
Oh, big time. And you go to an ER, even if you go to an ER like in Chesterfield and the kid's just playing on a trampoline, they're going to look at you like you crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually fell off the trampoline.
Yeah, they're going to report it and call social services.
They're going to, exactly. Mm-hmm. They're going to question you in and out, even though the kid probably was playing around and fell off the trampoline.
Yeah, but so many people use that as an excuse. To, oh, well, my kid fell down some stairs. Well, you'll
exactly. That's
you'll
true.
Go to jail for letting your kid fall down the stairs here. So
I know. And stuff like that does happen. I got to admit, especially if you've got a bunch of kids playing and all that stuff. I get it.
But you can usually clearly see if there's bruises all over a kid that they didn't get that from falling off a trampoline. Usually you'll bruise the area. If you start getting bruises on your ass and your legs and you fell on your head, well, how did they get the bruises everywhere else? You know, and then they know that these kids are being abused. And to be honest, there's so many people abusing their kids. It's like, it's horrible. There's a lot of bad parents out there. It ain't just a couple. It's way more bad parents than there are good parents.
Oh, I know. But Virginia is stern. It's one of the states that I think is the most stern is VA.
Yeah, good. That's
you know, it's true, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. It's got its pros and cons there, but
yeah.
Hopefully, the little kids.
If you're innocent, they treat you real bad. But if you're guilty, they do exactly what they should do to you. That's the pros and cons. If you didn't do it, you're going to get what you did. But if you did do it, your ass is going to pay for it. And that's, you know, it's kind of, you know, I get where you can be on the bad end of the stick here. You know, it happens. Most of the time, I think they get it right, you know.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Well, it should be because, I mean, everybody, you know, I don't get the part, why would she leave? Where did she go?
She went off with her mom. Apparently, her and the boyfriend are fighting now, and the family thinks he has something to do with it, so they're fighting with him. And she took off with the mom.
The whole situation sounds screwed up.
I know. I agree. I know something's wrong, and I think we'll find out in the next few days. So we're going to stay on it and try to see what happens in this. And I'm having a feeling it's going to end with a horrible story.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've been missing since Friday?
Yeah, Friday 10 a.m. is when she reported.
They're in some water. If he hasn't done anything to crazy boy, they're in some water somewhere.
What's the chances of both kids getting in the water?
I don't know. One following the other. I don't know.
Yeah, one fall in, the other try to help it and fall in too.
Yeah, exactly. They're little. And plus, they can't survive. They're that little. They're dehydrated. They can't survive with Friday night, nothing to eat or drink.
Yeah, I know. Well, the good thing is it's raining.
They were sick.
It was raining, so you got to figure there's puddles, things like that. So they might possibly could survive 5 days with, you know, a little bit of water.
Yeah, but how are they going to survive? I mean, they're 4 and 6. They ain't got no survival skills. I mean, and not only that, like I said, they were sick, and that don't help the situation.
Yeah,
but hopefully,
most likely they're not in those woods. They've been taken somewhere. But all right, Lisa, you be good.
All right, you too.
All right, peace. So yeah, most likely them kids are not in those woods. They've been taken somewhere, and somebody knows. Dolly.
Doug from Tennessee.
Got all my locals calling tonight. What's up, Doug?
Man, there's no possible way if my child was missing that I could get up on the TV and act like they did.
I agree.
I couldn't even be on TV.
That's what I said.
I'd be so hysterical. I couldn't. You wouldn't be able to talk to me on TV.
That's what I was saying. That's the exact same thing I said, Doug. And you would think men are a little tougher than women. How these sensitive ass women can be up there with no emotion talking about their kid is unbelievable. I mean, I know you got to get up there to spread the awareness, but the whole lack of emotion thing, I don't know how they can do that. I don't know how women can do that.
And especially she had the kid.
Yeah, under her care, like there with the child. There's too many kids going missing with a parent's home. That seems so odd.
Honest truth, I take you to drugs these people do nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
They make them think their kids are devils and stuff.
I mean, I don't know if that's the situation, but I mean, the dude, I mean, I can't say they're drug addicts. They didn't, something's going on though. Something's going on. And I don't,
the only people that sleep all day long is the one that does the M shit and stay up all night.
yeah, well, they ain't
And
the
sleep
only
all
people. YouTubers, I sleep usually when I do late night shows like this. I sleep a lot of the days, and I don't do drugs, But I basically work nights,
But you ain't out there looking for your kid.
I know. I done did my job. I'm good, right? My kid got a job. But if something was to happen, I would be there. I'd be there instantly, and I wouldn't quit. I'd be all in it. I'd be begging people, everybody I know, and all that.
But it's happening too much.
Yeah,
we just getting a few.
Yeah, I can't cover every missing kid case in the country. There's multiple kids go missing from every state in the United States every day. I usually only cover the ones that there's signs of foul play, and that's
these ain't parents. These ain't parents, because if they were parents, they would be taking care of the children.
Absolutely.
These were just people that had children.
People that had children. That's a good way of looking at it, because there's more to being a parent than just having a baby.
And letting it play outside.
Yes. Amen to that.
I've never let my kids go outside when they were little by themselves.
Not me either.
I would take my kids to the park.
But I always lived in a bad neighborhood, so I always was cover parent.
But I would take them to the park. I get a headache keeping both eyes on both my children.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have I didn't have a bunch of money when I was young, so the place I could afford was pretty hoodish, ghetto, as some people would call it. So I had to hover because I was worried about stray bullets and drug dealers and all kinds of shit, right? So I was always with my kid. But I mean, maybe if I lived in a nice neighborhood, I'd have been the same way. But I was always with my kid because I lived in such a rough neighborhood.
Well, they look like they lived out in the boondocks.
I know. It seems like you wouldn't have to keep your eye as much, but sometimes some of the worst places, sometimes the best places are the worst places.
Well, you got animals out there. And
usually you don't hear about kids getting kidnapped from the hood.
No.
It's always somewhere nice, right? It ain't never the hood. You don't never see nobody missing from the hood. So,
and then kids get missing out in the boondocks. When there ain't nobody around. You got people walking around your house and there ain't nobody lives around you.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
it'll come out in the long run.
We'll see.
And they're gonna find out like that other girl.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna run long before we get answers. I think we're gonna get answers fairly quickly in this one.
Yeah, because they're already arguing.
Yeah, because they're already arguing. I think it's
well, I'm gonna tell you, if I was a parent and my girlfriend or something done something to my child and I was pretty sure of it, you ain't gotta worry about them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You hurt my kid and it's on and popping. So, all right, Doug, you be good.
All right, you don't stay up too late now.
All right, peace.
Peace out.
All right, so yeah, I ain't gonna be up too much later. Maybe a few more minutes, but It's almost Dolly time to crash out. I had a long day today. And like I said, as stuff comes out on this case, we'll continue to cover any information or anything that breaks. You know, the news, the rumors, the gossip. You know what we do here, right? Until we can prove these people innocent, they are my number one suspects. Dolly. Hello.
Oh, hi. Calling for the show.
Yes. What's up? Who's this? Where you calling from? You got to turn me down in the background.
Oh, yeah. My name is Doug. I'm in Nova Scotia.
Hey, Doug. What's going on with you?
Oh, not too much. Just wanted to. Oh, I think there's a delay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I see
That's
what's
why I
going on
said.
now. Okay.
That's
All
why I
right,
said
gotcha.
turn the
Cool,
TV
cool.
down.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I've been following the story pretty much since it started. Right from the first hour, it was posted originally by the aunt, the mother of Malehya. It's been full of red flags right from the start. I mean, I don't think there's any way to deny that at all. It's just been so bizarre. And for anybody who's followed it from the beginning, it's just. I understand why the police are approaching it the way they are. I understand why the searchers are approaching it the way they are. Like, maybe they are in the woods, and God knows you have to find them in a certain amount of time if that's the case.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case. Of course, you're not going to call off that search. And I think it's very telling when they go ahead and they say that it's, they're not looking at it as a probable abduction. And I agree with that. I don't think they are looking at it as an abduction, but I don't necessarily think that they believe that they're actually lost in those woods either. They're compiling all the information right now, and like you said a little bit ago, this one's not going to take very long to unravel. They're already falling apart.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind as somebody who's followed the story, and I don't know if you are part of any like the Facebook groups, the searching for Lily and
no, I haven't joined.
Jack.
It was brought to my attention today. I didn't even hear about it when it first happened. It was actually brought to my attention today. So while we was out, I was watching updates on it and going, and then as soon as I watched the first thing on it, the first red flag came up, right? And when they were talking about the child in past tense, I was like, oh, that ain't good. That ain't good.
No.
So I watched more, and everything I watched, a red flag popped up. Red flag, red flag, red flag. I was like, okay, when I get home, I'm going to discuss this because this ain't right. Something is wrong in this case, and it's not your normal child that's ran off, not with the way the parents are acting and giving inconsistent statements and, being there with them, but not checking on the kids. They didn't, sleeping all day and not feeding the kids breakfast, and they just vanish.
Yep. Well, I live about, I'm about an hour and a half from where all this goes down. I'm very familiar with the area, though. I've got 6 kids myself. I've got 5 daughters, 1 son. And, I'm married now. And to be honest with you, I can afford to be a bit of a lazy dad because my wife does a lot of like the work, right? But when it was me and my 3 older ones who are teenagers now, I was doing it all by myself. And I can tell you, I was never in a position where, even as a young father raising 3 daughters by himself, I was never in a position where I was sleeping in past 10 or anything like that, or anywhere near that. Actually, you always had the obligation to be up. You always had the obligation to make sure that your kids get on the bus. You have that obligation for them. If I can be honest with you about what not allegedly. What's the word? What I think probably happened, based on everything I've kind of gathered from all of these sources. A lot of them are directly from the family. Now, that's not saying the family and I are in communication. We're not, but I'm privy to a lot of the messages that the family is sending, like the grandmother and stuff like that, grandmother, aunt, and everything. I genuinely believe that those children never went into the woods. The tracks stopped at, it stopped at the driveway, which tells me they didn't wander down that road.
Yeah.
They didn't wander down that road. They claimed the other day, I think it was Saturday, that they found a random pair of tracks back by the natural gas line. If those tracks meant anything, and a lot of people, we mentioned red flags, but this is a red herring. those tracks back by the natural gas line, if those meant anything, we would have heard about it, because right now I can't imagine the ground search and rescue would hide any positive information, because they know how everybody's looking at this situation. And there was also an issue the same day it happened. There was a neighbor who claimed that the day before there was 2 East Indian men driving around in a car trying to pick up children in the area. To that I say, they probably should have made that report the day before, because to me, I don't believe that story. If you look at the location of that house, it's very unrealistic. You would have to be the luckiest child abductor in the world to drive. The planets would need to align for you to pick up those children, be able to snatch them up, throw them in your car, and drive away without leaving a track, without leaving a trace, without leaving a scent. So it's just not realistic.
Now, let me ask you this.
Not,
do you think they went missing Friday, or do you think they went missing before Friday?
I believe those children were gone before Friday. I believe those children could have been gone as early as Monday. And I think that they had plenty of time to work out their story. I think that, there's a lot of reports. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not going to try my best not to slander anybody.
Yeah.
But, I'm aware of the drug abuse claims, and it's come from not one, not two, but multiple sources have claimed that this family has had issues with meth. I truly believe something happened, maybe to one child, and then it happened to another child. I don't know if that's accidentally, maybe they ingested something and it was dealt with from there, or maybe, meth can mess with somebody's mind. They might not realize what's happening when they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then
psychosis.
I'm sure they came to a realization afterwards, oh shit, what did we do? But I honestly think that I can't help but feel, my gut feeling is that the stepfather might have done something, and then perhaps the mother was told, you got to go along with this because your life is over too. And it didn't work out. That's all I can think, is it just seems to be falling apart right at the seams for them. Families brawling in the front yard. 2 days after the kids go missing? It doesn't make sense. Very suspicious.
Yeah, there's some background to this.
I believe by this weekend, you're going to have a confession. I really do believe that.
I don't think this is going to go a week either. You're on the same page as me. I say within the week, we're going to know what happened in this, and it's not going to be a good outcome. I just don't see nothing good coming from this. I'm still believing miracles, and I'm hopeful, but I live in the real world.
Wrong, right?
Yeah, I want to be wrong.
I want to be wrong too. Exactly. That's exactly it. I want to be wrong, but God, I don't think I am though. Anyway, it was nice chatting with you.
All right, buddy. You be good.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
All right. Really good call there. Okay. And as you can see, the people around him, everybody's talking. These Facebook groups pop up quick, don't they? They don't play. As soon as somebody goes missing, boom, Facebook group. Everybody's talking about it. But it's good because it's a good way to funnel information. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, it's Army Mom. How are you?
Hey, Army Mom. I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad.
What did they say about your tooth today? I didn't get the update on that.
They are going to pull my tooth. They have to get permission from my heart doctor before they mess with it. They looked at it because it's chipped, but they did an x-ray and they said there's a little bit of, they showed me the x-ray. They said there's a little bit of bone deterioration in the root of my tooth. Okay. But it looked like all my other teeth. I don't know. It looked the same. And they were like, we're going to pull it. I was like, I bet you are. Right. But they just told me to keep the little tooth wax that I've been using, to keep it on there. And as soon as they hear from the heart doctor, because they faxed it over to the heart doctor, but the heart doctor didn't reply back. So they gave me a paper to take to the heart doctor. So I took that paper to the heart doctor. And then the heart doctor said, well, we never got their fax. And I was like, yeah, y'all did. They sent it. And so I gave them the paper and they were like, okay, we'll fax it back. I was like, no, can you fill it out now? They were like, oh, no, we can't fill it out now. We're going to have to fill it out and fax it back. And I'm like, oh my God. So they can't, when they hear from the doctor, they'll schedule my appointment to have it pulled. Right. But the problem is we leave for Boston this weekend. So if they schedule it this week, I can't do it till next week. So I'm going to have to just rough it out with a messed up tooth for a week. So it is what it is. But that's how everything.
Well, I hope it all goes well.
Huh? I
said I hope it all goes well for you in your favor.
Yeah, I do too. I do too, right? But they did, while I was there, they did sand my tooth down so it wasn't so sharp.
Well, that's good.
So it wasn't wetting me like it was. So they went in there with some sand, like I don't know, like some wire type thing that was like plastic, but it was like sandpaper, like plastic sandpaper thing. I don't know. I ain't never seen nothing like it. But it was like a piece of floss with sandpaper on it. And then they put it on my tooth and was like, and sanded it down.
Oh, I hate that sound.
Yeah, it was really loud in my head while they were doing it. And the lady had my face, and I was like, ah, right? But it don't hurt as bad. So,
well, good.
And they gave me antibiotics to start taking. So, because, you know, the heart, you know, so when they do pull it, I already have the antibiotics in my system.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm okay. I'm alive.
That's great. But this case, the thing that stuck out to me is when he said, I just can't go running out to the woods and search for them.
Yeah.
Hide and watch. If that was my kids, I'd be all over those woods looking for them.
Amen. The first thing that stood out to me is how he was talking about the kids in past tense. Well, they love this. They love that. You know, I was thinking, okay, why is he talking about these kids in past tense?
Yeah, exactly. And that family was quick to jump on that he was guilty too. So they know something about him.
Yeah, he must not be a very good guy, and they've heard things, and they're starting to, you know, piece it together like everybody else. Like, okay, kids just don't vanish. Your story don't make sense. You have something to do with it.
And I believe they went missing Monday too, or
sometime
Tuesday.
that week. Yes, I believe someday that week when they didn't show up for school. That's when they went missing.
Yeah, and they were trying to think up a good story, and they finally said, well, we're going to have to do something.
Yep, I agree with you.
But I think she's going to rat him out. I just have a feeling she's going to rat him out.
That's why even that last caller, we don't believe it's going to last a week. I think this is going to be something that closes. We're going to see him arrested, and then they're going to move forward from there.
She almost looked like she wanted to say something when they were interviewed because she would just.
But how could you let somebody do that to your kid and not, you know?
Oh, he wouldn't be living now. He was no.
Maybe she's scared of him. Maybe she's scared of him. When she gets away from him, she will open up.
That could be too.
You know.
And I'll come talk to you too about the autism part. She said that they had a learning disability. And I know, Dolly, kids do have autism. They're diagnosed with it all the time. And I truly believe, you know, there are autistic children.
Yeah, but I don't think everything is autism either. Like
no, me either.
You know, some kids have learning disabilities and they need a little more. Maybe they're not good teachers, you know, and maybe they need a little people that are showing them that are a little bit better with teaching. Some people are good at teaching their kids and some people ain't. So when they get to school,
a lot of people just throw an iPad at them or a phone, and, you know, just to get them out of the way and keep them occupied. And they don't use their imagination a lot like we did when we were little. They can't go outside and play because it's not safe anymore. And the answers for them are right there in front of them. They don't have to really learn because everything, if they want to know anything, it's right there in front of them.
My cousin is 1 year younger than me, right? And he was damn near a baby genius when we were kids, right? He was, I think, 2 grades ahead of me because he had been skipped up a couple grades. And it's just that he was taught better, you know? And it wasn't, they started, he could tell you everything from the states, the capitals, to read and write, comprehend. I mean, way better than I could when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I knew the basics that every other, you know, 2nd grader knew, but he was already on like a 5th grade level, you know, like he was just but, you know, that was more of when he got home, do your homework. His mama sat down with him. His dad said, you know, they worked with him, and he was advanced. And some people are good at teaching and some people ain't.
That's true. That's true.
You know, so, but anyway, all right. I appreciate you calling in.
All right, Dolly. Take care.
All right. Peace. And everybody blames everything on autism. Oh, they're autistic. My daughter keeps telling me I'm autistic. She's like, you know how you're doing something and then you can have 30 people talking to you, but you can't pay attention to what you're doing. That's because you got autism. I'm like, look, kid, I don't got autism. Okay. I don't want to hear all that stuff y'all saying. So I tune it out. I got a tune out button and ain't got nothing to do. She's like, you know how you get into something and that's all you're into? You like I've been into, these horror movies like Art the Clown. She's like, you know how you're kind of fascinated with Art the Clown? You keep buying all this Art the Clown shit. That's autism. Right? I'm like, no, it's not. It totally ain't, right? It totally ain't. I don't know where the hell you come up with this. She's like, I done convinced all my friends you have autism. And I'm like, kid, I do not have autism. She was like, according to me and all my friends, you do. I'm like, oh my God, right? But I just think every time somebody has any type of disability now, they're kind of like, oh, it's autism. Listen, there's a million different diagnosis for different people, right? I may have a little ADHD or whatever the hell it may be, right? But I'm not autistic. I don't think so anyway. I just so many people, it's different things. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Who's this? Where you calling from?
This is a Hollywood, California.
All right, what's up, Holly Weirdo? We got to make it quick. It's getting late. I'm getting tired.
Right. Okay. No, I feel you. This is all kind of out of hand. They got these missing kids. You know about the girl called London? She's like from Milwaukee. Young 17-year-old dating a 23-year-old, found dead in the SUV in the ex-boyfriend's driveway, baby mama's driveway.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the case.
It's completely insane. I have never seen anything so insane.
Oh, okay.
And I love what you do. Is all kind of craziness is going on out there. Like, y'all, can we get it together?
Mm-hmm.
And then stop blaming ADHD and autism on everyone. Oh, they're a little bit ADHD.
I think everybody's a little crazy. Everybody.
Oh, absolutely. 50% of
just
America has to be.
What kind of crazy are you? That's the question. Everybody has a little something with them.
Yeah, 50% of America is undiagnosed bipolar. And take that from a schizophrenic. I'll fit it right there.
There you go. All 7 of your personalities.
Yeah. And it's like they found homegirl was missing for 3 weeks. Her name is London. I think she's out of Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And she was missing for 3 weeks. And apparently her unfortunately deceased person, her body was found.
Is he in custody? Is he in custody?
Oh, the mama and the boyfriend.
Okay.
All kind of stuff. Just the strangest stuff I ever seen. Can we just walk away from these situations? Like, I understand you're into true crime, but if it was my true life, I would have walked away.
From true crime?
No. I'm saying from that situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between studying true crime and walking away from it. I would never be. I hang out with gangbangers, drug dealers, shooters, and all kinds of stuff.
Well, you need to get some better friends. Is what you need to do.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I can walk away. It's not going to be. There's not going to be a nationwide manhunt for the people that I hang out with. Like, that's on them.
Sounds like most of the people you hang out with, there's a manhunt for them now. You hang out with gangbangers and shooters, they're probably wanted now. Have you checked the list on America's Most Wanted lately?
No, that's what I'm saying. But this weird stuff. There's natural, level-headed gangsters, shooters.
Uh-huh.
My father was a Marine, so he's a killer. Most of the men I grew up with were killers. And then we have these weirdos just performing these weird things. Like, children shouldn't come up missing.
No,
They should not come up missing. It should be real easy to find them, track them down.
Track them. All right, Holly Weirdo, I got to get ready to go though, man. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. So you be good.
Hey,
you stay safe. Get some better friends.
Stay beautiful.
Right,
Stay beautiful. No, those are my best friends.
Right.
I can't tell you.
All right,
I don't know.
All right, Dolly. Last call.
Good evening, Dolly.
Good evening.
This is Diane from Michigan.
Say it one more time. Who from Michigan?
Diane.
Hey, Diane.
So the reason there's something I wanted to run across is that I noticed in the chat they were talking about the mom had left the house with the baby because CPS told her to leave because they didn't want her around the guy.
Maybe. I heard they were fighting and that's why she left. But, right now, this is the rumor mill and we don't truly know because we're not there. But right now, the rumors are that they were fighting and she left. But it could be the CPS told her to get out of there.
Well, there was something in the chat from somebody that said CPS told her to leave with the baby, or they were taking the baby into custody.
I don't doubt it. Not at all.
So they know something. They got to know something.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Or they suspect something and they're still investigating it, and the police have tipped off social services. Hey, we're looking into this guy. It's a little suspicious. And then social services are like, look, we want you to get that baby, get away from him until we figure out what's going on and the police figure out what's going on. It could be something like that. I mean, I don't know. We'll know over the next couple of days, though. So we're going to stay locked in on it.
Well, hopefully we thought we know something about Sebastian and quicker than this too.
Yeah. Yeah, but this seems a little different than Sebastian. It seems a little different.
It does, but similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some similarities. There's similarities in Sebastian. There's similarities to the Cal City boys. There's similarities to Matty Soto. There's too many red flags. It's too similar to a lot of these cases, and that is scary.
Well, I've noticed myself when things like this happen, other people try to copycat it. Let's see if I can get away with it. He was stupid. I'll get away with it this time. You know what I mean?
I hope not. That's the last thing we need.
It's kind of like robbing a bank. My friend robbed a bank. No, I'm going to go try it. You know what I mean? They're so stupid.
Yeah.
But I know these poor kids. I mean, all my life, I'm 75 years old, but all my life, I was taking care of foster kids all my life. I had more than 100 children in my home.
Oh.
Children are my life. Children are my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've seen some of these children have really bad lives if you've had 100.
I'm telling you what, some of the kids we had coming in our house was bad, sad situations.
Yeah. That's usually the case. People care more about themselves than they do their kids. And they forget that their kid is an extension of them and they treat them like shit.
Mm-hmm. And here I am still raising kids because I'm raising my grandkids now.
Okay.
My kids are raising grandkids because my daughter's not capable. So,
well, at least you're there. At least she has you to be there, somebody to help out in a situation, and hopefully she gets her shit together.
Well, they're 20 and 18 now. I've had them since they were infants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've raised them by myself as a widow. My husband's been gone for 25 years. So I did it on my own, but by God, I did it because I'm a mom, number one.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad. These moms aren't moms and these dads aren't dads.
I see it a lot. I see it absolutely a lot.
Yep. Well, thank you for taking my call. It's my first time calling in.
Oh, well, no problem. It was nice talking to you. You be good, and I'll talk to you next time.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace. All right, guys. That's going to be the last call for the night. I am getting ready to get out of here. That puts me at 3 hours with you guys. Now, I'm trying to get back to my night routine. I've been getting up pretty early, working, doing things in the yard and around the house and just getting everything right. We are heading out onto the road this week, right? Coming up. So I think we're leaving Saturday or Sunday. We're heading up towards Boston. You know, we're going to make a few pit stops along the way. I will be streaming a lot of that stuff with you guys live. But even on the road, we will follow up on this case if there's no solution by then. You know, as we hear things and things come out, we'll give you an update tomorrow. 969 likes. We didn't even hit 1,000 likes. Okay. So if you haven't liked the video yet, do me a solid. Like the video. Let's at least hit 1,000. That I shut up at 1,000 anyway. Definitely share this video, or if not, if you don't feel like sharing the video, definitely share the picture of these kids, just in case for some crazy reason we're wrong and these kids are out there somewhere, that people know what these kids look like. So continue to share their photos, and let's pray that Dolly's wrong and that these kids are okay and they're somewhere safe. Like I said, we'll give updates throughout the week on what goes on. I don't believe this case is going to go on very long. This ain't the Sebastian Rogers case. This already is starting to unravel, and we're seeing that. So I think there will be an arrest in this case, and we will be here for it. So I will catch you guys tomorrow morning for the Karen Reed trial. All right, if I get my lazy ass up, right? That kicks off at 9 a.m. And then I will, of course, see you guys tomorrow night for any updates that's on this case or anything that's interesting in true crime. We'll probably be updating on this and going over some of Stephen Stern's phone calls tomorrow night. All right. And until then, remember this. If nobody else does, Dolly loves you. Peace. Oh, and in the comment box down below, tell me if you think this is foul play and who is responsible.